Welcome to the live stream. I'm Uncorrupt. I feel like an idiot every time I say that. But if you want to play video games, you got to have a video game name. Outside of YouTube and Twitter, I think people usually tend to just call me Mike. Occasionally people call me bad words. Son of a bang. Mother boom. I try not to let it affect me too much, but I'll admit sometimes it's more painful than others. Never mind that stuff, though. Getting back to Hearthstone here. Going to be trying to do some climbing today, which means I'm going to be trying as hard as I can to win games and gain ranks. I think I'm going to play like a deck roulette style, so I've got a few decks here, and pretty much when I lose a game, I'm just going to select a different deck and then go on from there. So we've got Big Beast Hunter. We have Quest Hunter. Both of these are Renathal decks, 40 cards, 40 health. I've got a Shadow Priest here. I'm not sure exactly how good this deck is. It's something I've been tinkering with. Quest Priest is probably better. Boar Priest, Naga Priest, they're all probably better. But it's something different, you know, something to maybe break up the monotony for me, just to play something different. And we got Big Spell Mage and Casino Rogue. And, you know, I was looking at the decks, and pretty much these are the decks that I'm enjoying playing right now. You know, I thought about maybe Murloc Shaman. Don't really enjoy that deck. And then if you're trying to climb, Warrior, Warlock, these are, you know, pretty much just dead classes at the moment until we get some new cards potentially. And other things, you know, I just don't find as interesting. So we're going to go ahead and queue it up here with some Quest Hunter. No idea what I'm expecting to face on the ladder. It feels like the meta still continues to evolve, even in a settled meta, you know. It feels like the Prester Druids feel like they're gone. I see a lot of Alignment Druid, both 30 card and 40 card. I feel like I've seen a little bit more Quest Hunter. I still see Beast Hunter. Actually catch a live stream. Hey, Cax. Hope you're doing well today. Not a whole lot going on just yet. We're going to try to win some games. Looks like we're up against Mage right off the bat. And I'm already drinking water. I talk so much, I get thirsty. And I feel like I already need more water than the average person. So we definitely keep the quest. I would assume this is going to be like Big Spell Mage. I'm tempted to keep these just because they're damage spells. I feel like you don't want to get too greedy with a 40 card deck as far as what you keep in your mulligan. But the issue here is that both of these are 4 cost cards, which doesn't give us anything to do. So I think I'm going to throw away the Marked Shot. I do like this card in this deck, though, just because it gives us an opportunity to get an extra damage spell to advance the quest. This is good just to thin out our deck and get some secrets in play. We're going to do it like this. Hearthstone is already trolling me. Come on, game. And a pretty easy turn 1 here. So assuming that it is Big Spell Priest, they're going to be able to switch the cost of one of their spells and one of our spells. There's really no way around that just because our deck is almost all spells. I mean, we could Barb Net Face here, but I'm just going to go ahead and Hero Power. Turn 2 could just be Barb Net. It's pretty straightforward. We're just going to Barb Net and Hero Power. Also a possibility that this is actually Rogue, but if it is, they've got a really bad starting hand. Treasure Guard. That's interesting. I assume this is still Big Spell Mage, but it's a 40 card. It's a 40 card list, which actually just hit me here. So I have no idea what all is going to be in this person's deck. I kind of wonder if it's maybe like a Naga Mage, somebody still trying to play that Spite-Lash Siren. But with 40 cards, I mean, there's really no telling what we're up against, so we just want to kill him. I mean, Piercing Shot is clean. It spends our mana. It's a damage spell. It's going to get this off the board. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage to our opponent's face, but that doesn't really matter. We're going to have so much damage after we complete the quest, just with hero powers and refreshing the hero powers, so I'm not super worried about it. Looks like we're going to have plenty of time against this deck. Still don't really know exactly what the win condition is going to be. 9-mana card, so they've drawn Rune of the Archmage, so I guess it actually is just a big spell mage. They're just running 40 cards. So this is a pretty clean, just Mark Shot. We'll get another spell, and then likely Arcane Shot face. I think we just take... This is just a cheaper spell. I mean, we have enough damage spells in hand to be able to complete the quest, so I think I just want the cheap spell. That gives us a free hero power. Currently Diamond 10 in Europe, and a rogue main. What rogue deck is the best for climbing right now? The best rogue deck is going to be one of the Thief rogue decks. I personally like the Jackpot deck. Well, actually, they're both Jackpot decks, but the one that plays Contraband Stash is the version that I like best. I have seen some other people saying that they like the other version a little bit better. That plays, I think it plays Fillet Fighters. It's a bit of a more aggressive deck, but if you're looking for a deck list, I would recommend just going to vicioussyndicate.com. They're going to have quality deck lists for you, and then you can make your choice there. Again, I personally just like the Contraband Stash version. I think it's a little bit more fun, but I've been told that the other version is more powerful. So we can go... I mean, we just go Shell Shot, Barb Nets, and complete the quest.
Let none survive.
We know that they discounted their Rune of the Archmage, but I don't think Rune of the Archmage is going to be all that good for him here. And there's no reason to play this now. We'll be able to play it next turn to be able to get the extra hero power here. Again, our opponent's going to be moving slow. Rune of the Archmage, at least in my opinion, isn't very good unless you're clearing your opponent's board. So, I mean, what have they actually done here? They Ignite Face, put an Ignite in their deck. They Flame Strike an empty board. Fireball Face. That's okay for them. But there's a lot of wasted mana there. I feel like the Stash version relies too much on RNG. Maybe that's just you. It does. I mean, sometimes the RNG ends up being really good, and sometimes the RNG ends up being really bad. So at this point, we're just going to start going face. Make sure we play our quest reward. Emergency Maneuvers, it's not going to do a whole lot to get the 7/7 back, but they are going to have to be able to address this because they can't afford to let us punch him in the face. So here's another rune. Likely this gets removed. Could be a counter spell here, but I feel like this is almost always ends up being a ice barrier. They've had a couple of good runes though. Both of their runes have fireballed face and ignited face. We're going to have to at least consider making some defensive plays just because our opponent's health is still so high. They're killing their own minion because they don't want to overdraw. That's interesting. So we're going to do this. I'm going to use the Mark Shot. It'll clean this up really well, and then if it's a counter spell, this isn't like a super high priority. I think it's the freezing trap. Freezing is cheap, and then if they get down like the dragons, and it's not going to do a whole lot to us. And I guess we're just going to go maximum damage this turn. We likely won't attack here just because if it's Ice Barrier, this would actually allow them to gain 1, assuming this sticks on the board. Wow, man. Their runes have been really good this game. I just got hit in the face for 10. That's like actually crazy. It's also crazy that they can have... I mean, they drew the rune, but they had both parrots in a 40-card deck. We're actually almost dead here, and it's unlikely that we'll be able to kill our opponent. At least this turn. So we've played, for Multicaster, we played 1 Arcane Shot, and we played the Shell Shot, so it's going to draw 2. I think we're just drawing cards here. Draw cards and try to set up lethal for next turn. Aim Shot is a lot of damage. So we have 2. The Ice Trap. At least we know there's not going to be any big spells coming down from him this turn. Trade. Hoping they don't have the second Deep Water Evoker. If they get that armor, it's just going to make it a lot harder. We also don't really want to Freezing Trap this back into their hand. Alright, we're just going to kill him. We're not counting because counting takes too much effort, but I'm pretty sure they're just dead here. They're actually not just dead here because we have an explosive trap already in play. So, if we attack here, it's either Ice Barrier or Oasis Ally. If we attack and it's Ice Barrier, we heal them for... We end up healing them for 5 and they go to 6. In which case we can still likely kill them next turn. I think we have to take the chance. Otherwise we could potentially die. We have a freezing and an explosive, but if they... Well, the explosive would just kill them. I actually don't know what the correct play here is. I think we just have to pass turn. If they attack, they're dead. Yeah. Yeah, that was close. If we had been able to play the explosive trap, we would have had another ping, but unfortunately we already had one in play. I think we're okay here, though. They can't attack with the minions. Probably the correct play for them would be to attack with the parrot. Parrot gets the freezing trap back to their hand, and then they can replay the parrot for another Rune of the Archmage, I think. Oh, wow. It'd be interesting to know what our opponent's hand was here. That last turn was really interesting. Last turn from our side. We win, so I'm going to queue up the same deck again here, but it's a 40-card deck, so it's unlikely that they had drawn the Ignites. Rune of the Archmage had shuffled 2 Ignites back into their deck. It's also possible they could have been running Fireballs. They had to put in some extra cards in that deck. It doesn't necessarily make sense with a big Spell Mage, but they had to put something in their deck. Against a Hunter. There's probably an argument either way to attack or not attack on our last turn from that last game. It ended up working out. That's one of those things that it feels like you'd have to be in that situation a lot of times to know exactly what was correct. So against Hunter, if it's another quest Hunter, it's just a damage race. We need to get our quest online as quickly as possible and just kill him. A lot of times I tend to keep Dunbaldar Bunker, but I don't think it's worth it here. And they did keep the far left card. We've got damage spells in hand, but 2 of these rely on having a minion on the board to be able to target as well. So it's not Quest. That means it's Big Beast Hunter. So I feel like we're favored in this matchup. Selective Breeder. So I think the play here is going to be, we're just going to quick shot face to advance our quest. We don't really care about a 1-3 being on the board, but then that also gives us a minion, so like on turn 3 we can coin Spring the Trap. That'll get 2 secrets out of our deck. You know, it thins the deck a little bit, and also advances our quest, so we'll be able to complete part 1 of the quest here. Hate to see Harpoon Gun on 3, man. They have Harpoon Gun on 3, even with a 40 card deck. That's unfortunate. So they can potentially high roll us here, and we almost lose on the spot, depending on what they hit. Spring the Trap could potentially put a freezing trap in play here, though, which could be clutch, depending on, you know, what they actually pick up off the Harpoon Gun. But they have, I mean, it's a 40 card deck, so it's unlikely that, you know, really powerful stuff like the Mountain Bear or King Crush are going to be in those bottom 3, right? We're hoping the RNG is in our favor. We got a freezing and an ice trap, so unfortunate that we don't get the quest advancement there, but so now this is interesting, because we have a choice. Do we want to go for Tavish? If we do, we don't want to complete part 2 of the quest. For me, once you complete part 2 of the quest, after you replay this, it's going to set your hero power back to 2 mana, and then that just makes you weak the rest of the game. So this is kind of like an emergency card if you get it down after part 2 is complete. Question is, do I care about taking 8 damage from this humongous owl? I don't think I do. I mean, we can just go... We can go Arcane, Barbed Net, and Explosive Trap, because the hero power is going to be free. This is going to get bounced back into our opponent's hand. Maybe we just hold the Explosive Trap. Nah, we're going to spend mana. It's always better to spend mana. Haven't seen Owl in a long time. Owl is something, it was actually recommended on the Vicious Syndicate meta report as an alternate way to be able to build this deck. Yeah, so we can actually complete the quest here. We can complete the quest and remove both of these minions, and then he's stuck with his owl just on the board. But Vicious Syndicate recommended with that 40 card list that you could potentially add in a second Asharan Saber and 2 owls, and they said that you could cut Ambassador Phelan and 2 other cards to make room for the owls. Alright, so yeah, we're just going to do this. This completes the quest, and it keeps us safe from taking the 8 damage off of the humongous owl here. So next turn we'll be able to play the quest, and then after that, hopefully we hit some card draw so that we can just be able to kill our opponent from there. I can't remember what the other cards were that they were saying you could cut in this list. The one that I have right now already made is doesn't have the owls in it. I'm not sure how good the owls actually are. Launch's Call. Damage goes face here for sure. So one of these is going to get the freezing trap back. It's likely going to be the Rat King. he can actually make this trade and deal 8 damage. Not familiar with Vicious Syndicate, use HS Replay, but you'll take a look at the site. Yeah, so they're a, Vicious Syndicate is probably the most influential publication in Hearthstone. So they're able to gather data. People give them their game data, just like how HS Replay gathers data. And so, like, they don't have a deck tracker or anything, but every week, assuming there's no, like, you know, card changes, nerfs, and whatnot, they put out the Vicious Syndicate meta report. And then with that, oh, that is really unfortunate. Also unfortunate. With that meta report, they just talk about, you know, what decks are good, so on and so forth. It's just a very data-driven analysis, and it really shapes the meta, because a lot of the very best and highest ranked players in the game pay attention to that, and then you know, they use that to kind of modify their decks. So I don't think we can play around direct damage. Our game plan has to be to just kill our opponent here, I think. Playing Tavish is like a losing line. Do we care about the card draw? I think we actually have to put the damage face here. So we need a good top deck to activate this. I don't think we're winning this game. King Crush was just a little bit too strong. If they hit anything but King Crush, we're likely fine. There's an ice trap, so we can't kill him. And we never win if we play Tavish at this point. We have 6, 8, we have 13, and they're at 18. Means we have to make a defensive play. We remove the Crush, we're still just almost dead on board. So 2. Oof. Plus they still have hero power. We don't care about the extra trogs because they're going to die to our explosive trap. Then we'll go ice trap. And we're going to ping here, and then this guy's going face. So we're totally dependent here on being able to hit some card draw to be able to kill him. Pretty much multicaster, but multicaster isn't drawing us a whole lot. Only like 2 cards. So they're going to take... Oh, I'm silly, man. We're still just dead to hero power here. Maybe they don't see it. Miss hero power? They never miss hero power. So I wasted all my brain power trying to figure out how to stay alive and died to the hero power anyway. That was unfortunate. Alright. We're switching deck on a loss. We're gonna go big spell Mage. Unlucky? Nah, it wasn't necessarily unlucky. I'm not sure... Well, maybe the only way to survive was play Tavish, but if you play Tavish, it's just a losing line because we're never going to be able to kill our opponent after that. Was it BM from the opponent? I have no idea. No way to really know what the intention of your opponent is. Maybe they just didn't see it, didn't realize that they had lethal. I mean, I've done that before. Like, I go down to the rope, and then I'm like, oh, I can actually kill him. And I wasn't doing it to intentionally, you know, trying to BM. Against Priest, I've played this guy before, and I don't remember what Priest he plays. I think it might be Quest. If it's Quest, we don't even want the Pelican Diver. If it's Naga Priest, we want the Pelican Diver. Is there any other reason to keep this? That I can think of. Nobody's playing Naga Priest right now. So we got both of the Sorceress. Looks like Quest. Actually not sure how this matchup goes. Other than the fact that it's going to be a 20-minute game. Come on. I just putting the minion in play. Is there any reason to tempo? Let's just spend mana. I don't think we're going to need the freezing hero power. A lot of times with this big spell mage, the way the deck ends up working is actually you just win with hero powers. We want to be able to... oh, that's a nice top deck. So we're going to plan on playing this on turn 7, and then we're just going to look for ways to get our hero power to do more damage. At some point, we're going to be able to hero power for 4 or 6 in a single turn. I think we hold this. It's only 1 damage. Unfortunately, we float mana because our cards are so expensive. Don't really want to play this either as a tempo play. We'd like to save this for when our hero power is doing more damage. Seen some streamers get mad when the opponent shows lethal last. Let's say when the opponent needs a quick shot to win and they use it last. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that I never get mad. Sometimes I do, but I mean, it's really not that big a deal. If your opponent is BMing you because, you know, they know that they have lethal and they're just letting the rope burn down to waste your time, they're actually wasting their own time. Alright, well this guy goes face. I mean, I think we freeze this. I really don't want to use this Reckless Apprentice, though. It just doesn't make sense, because it's going to be so much more powerful later when our hero power is doing more damage, especially with the Dawn Grasp in hand. So we're just going to freeze his minion, and we're going to float a bunch of mana again. But yeah, I try not to let things like that affect me. You're never able to control what other people do in life. The only thing you can really do is control how you react to it. Usually check your phone when that happens? Yeah, I know, right? It's a good time to get caught up on other stuff. What is this draw? So again, we have no good plays here. Our opponent's advancing their quest. We're doing absolutely nothing every single turn. I mean, we can ping here to set up the Arcanist for next turn. Just have nothing in hand. I mean, we don't even want to play this because we don't draw a spell. Maybe if we top deck one of our big boys, then that's going to be the play, but our opponent's just advancing their quest. We're putting no pressure on them. We're doing nothing. This game is not going very well at all. He plays that. I mean, we have a board clear with Spammy Arcanist. We'll have a 1, 2, 3. Sure why he played the Condemn like that. Alright, so, I mean, this is pretty straightforward now. We're just going to play the Sorceress and discount Rune of the Archmage. Would have been slightly better to hit the Drakefire Amulet, because we could have discounted and then played the Amulet. I guess, so they threw away the Condemn because it's a spell. Because they know that we're going into our Sorceress turn, so it's possible they don't even have a spell to be able to discount. But I think this is still the play. So they have a Whirlpool in hand that costs 9 mana now. Whirlpool is the only 8 mana spell that this deck is running. Pretty sure. But again, we're doing nothing. I mean, we can get Dawn Grasp down next turn, and then we'll have a Honor Kill to be able to push this to 4 damage. And we'll have the Honor Kill on Korak unless our opponent decides to heal. Not really worried about any surprise lethals from our opponent. There's no burn in this deck. They're not going to be putting out a ton of pressure from the board. Probably the correct play from their side is to actually heal the Korak. They're still going to be a couple of turns away at least from being able to kill us with the quest, but we've got to start making some moves. Yeah, and they do heal the Korak here. So, we can just Rune of the Archmage. We could get another Sorceress in play, but likely that doesn't do anything. We could ping Korak and then play Reckless Apprentice, and then that's going to buff this up to 4 damage. We just go... No, I think... Now there's a possibility they get this back, though. I think we need to remove maybe the Korak first. Think about maybe Rune of the Archmage next turn. I probably should have thought this through a little bit more. No, that's fine. So an interesting thing about this card is it does damage in order based of when things came into play. So it hits the hero first unless they played a hero card, and then it hits the minions in order of when they were played. So Korak was played first, this was second, this was third, so that's why it went in that order. We're actually just going to have to Mordresh to be able to clear this board. So they're going to heal for, well, only 2 because they're still at almost max health. And they're still just throwing away spells because of, you know, the threat of a second Barbaric Sorceress. But Mordresh ends up being just a strong play here. Other possibilities, though. I mean, we have an Honor Kill for 4. Which pushes our hero power to 6 damage, which seems pretty strong. 1 man off being able to Mordresh and ping here. Let's trade and see what we find. Evoker. It's just Mordresh. They're going to have to find a way to be able to deal with the 8/8 or they take damage off of that as well. I guess it goes to an 8/5 thanks to this. But we don't want to leave this stuff on the board. So they still need... They need an 8. We know one of their whirlpools actually went to 9, so they could remove a board if we have a board, but it doesn't advance their quest. Is the only other 8 drop in this deck the hero card? Zarella? If it is, I hope it's on the bottom, but not in dredge range. So this is good for us. They do heal here, but we're going to be able to get an honorable kill on this. That's going to push our hero power to 6. There's another Drake Fire. Maybe just ping and Barbaric to try to discount again. The only problem is, we know they have the 9-cost Whirlpool in hand, so if we discount again and it hits this, then we give our opponent an 8. Seems like it's a potential way to just lose the game. So what if we ping here and just Rune of the Archmage? Now notice, when I played against the big spell mage, when they did this, it was like Pyroblast face, Fireball face twice, Ignite. See how lucky we are. Counterspell, Ignite. So far, so good. That's 5 mana. Yeah, so I'm happy with that outcome. I can't cry too hard. I feel like this was a good box for us. And we don't really care about this. And a Renathal. Yeah, it was a good rune. I mean, it feels like the outcomes are good more often than not. Sometimes you can get messed up, but I swear, before this expansion came out, whenever I played Rune, I would draw a bunch of cards and overdraw. Or like fatigue and die to fatigue damage because I was drawing so many cards. Now it feels like you've got just me totally making up numbers. I swear it feels like a 90% chance you clear your opponent's board and you deal damage face. But maybe that's just me. We definitely want to ping face here. I think we just pair it. We're going to box again and probably pant on that ping and face. So I need to get the parrot down and stop talking so much here because we need time for this to actually happen. Again, so far so good on the box. We drew another parrot. Wildfire is fine. There's another Ignite. So again, look, we just cleared our opponent's board and we drew a card. And probably should have traded first, but... Huh? Oh, because we created an extra one. I was going to say, that should not be possible. But we created an extra copy of the Drakefire Amulet because our first box played Arcane Brilliance. So we actually have 3 of these at the moment. So, I mean, we've got a counter spell. He's still really looking to draw like the hero card, I think. This is now 7. He's going to heal for 8. So we have 7, 14, 18. He's going to go to 31, but it's still the play, right? Highly unlikely. Well, so we could play our Barbaric Sorceress and ping it to be able to push this to 9. Surely that's not a thing though, right? Like, that's never a play. We just clear the board, and we're going to build our own board a little bit. Also try to do some shenanigans with this and setting one of our spells to 0. We're just going to gain some health. Health is irrelevant in this matchup. They're never going to kill us. It's all about whether or not they can complete the quest and play the quest reward. Although the counterspell makes it interesting, they've been spending all of their... I guess they still have the 9-mana Whirlpool to clear this up. But we're starting to get close to being able to just kill them. Oh, they didn't check for counterspell. And they concede. Wow, man. So they were aggressively spending their spells because they were afraid of the Barbaric Sorceress. And I guess maybe they didn't have any other plays to be able to make. Like, that may have not been a misplay. That may have just been, I have to do this. If it's counterspell, then I lose. But, you know, from our side, certainly that looks like a misplay. But I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. It was one of those things where this is my only play as the Whirlpool. I have to do this. If it doesn't work, then I've just lost the game. So, GG to our opponent there. Man, this better not be a real paladin. This has to be Rogue, right? Nobody's playing Paladin right now. I certainly don't want to play Control Paladin. Just help us or hurt us. I'm going to say it hurts us against Rogue, right? We don't want to give our opponent multiple coins. Because what if they play like Krakatoa on, say, 4? Got to find a play for the amulet soon. Yeah, so, I mean, in that matchup, you're likely not winning from the board just by creating dragons because they have so much removal. You know, they run Zarella in the deck. They run more than enough healing to be able to clear the dragons with the Zarella. They have whirlpools. And then they have like a lot of taunts with Light Shower, Elemental, Undying Disciple. So I don't think you actually win that matchup from the board. And so if you Drake for... this looks like Rogue, by the way, because it's not golden. But if you Drake for 10 mana, in a lot of ways it feels like you just waste your turn. You're better off trying to like buff your hero power and kill him like that. I think we actually dance here. It's an extra attack. And then it still frees us up. Sometimes when I play this, it might be like a tunnel vision kind of thing, but sometimes when I play this, I feel like I can't hero power because I want to save the freeze. After talking about how this could be bad for us. It'd be good for us, though. We need to hit a Barbaric Sorceress. Discount one of these babies. Do you think Beast Hunter is the best deck on the ladder right now? It depends. I do think maybe Vicious Syndicate may have said that Beast Hunter was the best deck on the ladder. But when they look at that, they look at data. I think when they make those statements, it's from Bronze all the way through Top Legend. And so, you know, if you're playing at, you know, say, Gold or Platinum, Diamond, Legend, wherever, it could look different. I think we're just going Tempo King here. We're going to hold the hero power. So, I don't know. I mean, you can say, you know, whatever deck is the best on the ladder, but it's going to vary from individual to individual because everybody has a different experience on the ladder. Like, there was a guy that tweeted out this beast... That's unfortunate. There was a guy that tweeted out this beast druid list, and he hit #1 legend with it, and then I see other people playing it, and they're like going backwards. You know, they're not climbing the ladder at all with that deck. They're actually losing ranks with it because the decks that they're playing against aren't the same as what that guy was playing with when he had a nice little win streak. To be able to get the legend. We have to trade here. This is in his stash as well. Unfortunate, but we don't have a choice. And we're just gonna get the Evoker down and draw our card. This likely gets traded, especially if we don't find something playable next turn. Yep, just concede. That was the guy that I saw. So our opponent played the coin that we gave him. They played both coins. I think we still have to coin this out because we don't want to take all this damage. They're going to at least have to make some trades, but I'm not sure that we actually get a discount here. Oh, wow. We did get a discount. So we're going to rune next turn. Will we ever just ping this to freeze it, and then they can't kill our 3/7? I kind of think we do. Nice. Didn't know if we were going to get a discount or not, just because they didn't have very much in hand. Trickster's Shroud, that's not super impactful. They may have drawn Krakatoa. This could be a turn 6 crab. But we're just going to rune and then get down the treasure guard, I think, so. Oh good, this survived and got to attack. Base. Cards is fine. That's also fine. I guess we need to ping this. We don't want to leave all this spell power on the board for sure, so we ping this. Volcanomancy goes off, and then we can push face. We still have room to be able to trade this guy, though. We're going to push the 3. So it's looking pretty good this game. I mean, if our opponent has crab, this is a good crab for him. Looks like they don't have crab, so that's good news. 3/7, yes, the Barbaric Sorceress is a neutral card. Guess the meta is pretty varied right now, which is good. It is. I mean, I see a lot of complaints. I don't know if you guys keep up with Twitter and things like that. I mean, this is like the most straightforward turn ever, right? We first flame first because we don't want this to get discounted. Unfortunate. That was first flame and not second flame. How did we create a first flame? Oh, from the Ruined Orb. So we actually lost 2 out of 3. We get a 4 mana one of these guys. Like 4 mana Drakefire Amulet probably just wins the game, but I think we're still going to win anyway. There's the crab. This crab isn't like super great for him. Yeah, there's no way you face tank that. But people have said the meta is varied. There's like, you know, quite a few decks you can play right now, but what people say is that the decks are boring, and that makes the game boring. So yes, there's a lot of decks, there's a lot of variety, but the power level of every deck is really low, and that's why there's so many decks that are viable right now. So I don't really feel like that, but I'm not the guy that's out there playing. Some of these complaints are coming from people that are playing like 50 and 60 games of Hearthstone every single day. So part of me feels like no matter what the good decks are, no matter what the meta is, you're going to get tired of it because of how much you're playing. Like, you're just consuming way too much Hearthstone. And I think I said not long ago in one of my videos that I only play like 300 to 400 games a month. I average maybe 10 games a day. I don't play Hearthstone every single day. There's people playing 2,000 games a month. Of course you're tired of the game. I'm going to parrot here, but I waited way too long to do it. And I actually can't... Oh, wow. I waited too long. If you're going to play Rune of the Archmage, or a parrot to replay the rune, you need to do it early in your turn. Just so you have time to see what happens. I think we just won the game here, though. But, so yeah, I mean, it is a valid criticism. I think, you know, there's not a whole lot of super interesting decks. But at the same time, if you're playing that much Hearthstone, do you really have an objective opinion about what's interesting and what's not interesting? Like, everything gets boring at that point. We win, so we're going to queue up again with the Big Spell Mage. Big Spell Mage is definitely one of the strongest decks. I feel like if you're going to climb, you have to play good, strong decks. And if you don't like the good, strong decks, then you have to make a choice of, I really want ranks, or, you know, I'd rather play something more enjoyable. This has to be another rogue. I don't believe that somebody's playing warrior right now. I think we keep the barbaric. There's just so many spells in the rogue deck. It's almost guaranteed that we hit something with it. Keep the Pelican Diver. Do we though? I mean, it's good against Null because this can punch a Null and then you can hero power to remove the Null, but at the same time, if you play it too soon, then they just hero power punch into it and it does nothing. So maybe we look for something else. Play 8 hours a day, you'll be bored no matter what. Notice that the decks are kind of repetitive and boring. Yeah, and it gets like that, Igor. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. If not, feel free to call me out in the chat. But that's definitely true. Oh, wow. Coin Belinda on 5 into Sorceress on 6. I think we just won. We're going to trade this guy. Oh, baby. Double Coin Belinda on 4. I think we just won the game. You only have scabs for fully board removal at 8 mana. Yes, but there's a lot of times where you can remove the board with Crab. And if you're playing the scam version of Thief Rogue, you can also remove the board. You can find ways to remove the board, like Trickster Blizzard. But you have to be careful when you're playing the Contraband Stash version, because if you play, like, say, Trickster Twisting Nether, then your Tess and your Stash can potentially... Well, Tess definitely has it, but your Stash could potentially roll Twisting Nether, and then you remove your own board, which is actually bad for you. So next turn we can go like this ping, potentially. Turn 4 is always double coin Belinda. We're just going to get a huge minion. Like, how do they ever beat it? I say that, but, you know, they have ways. Yeah, so look at this guy right here. So, I mean, they'll be able to trade this into the Belinda and then have the 2 rush minions, so that's actually really good for them. Really good for them. So we're going to change our play. We're going to make sure that next turn when we play our Belinda, we're going to freeze this so that they can't trade it and get the 1/1s with rush. They still have the potential to be able to, like, say, Wicked Stab or something to kill it themselves. That means they're spending resources on killing their own minion, which doesn't seem great. And then next turn we'll be able to freeze it again. We're going to kill the higher health Knoll. We're going to freeze this guy right here. And I'm actually going to wait before I click, because I don't want to accidentally freeze the wrong thing. Wouldn't necessarily say power level is low, just think the decks aren't that creative. I agree 100% on that. And that's partially because of the small number of cards that we have in Standard right now. As more sets get added, it's going to get more interesting. They're going to replay again. So I can't actually freeze both of these, which is kind of an issue. Do I really have to trade with a 10/10? Like, there's... I have to Drakefire. And then I have to potentially trade with a 10/10. These are so good for our opponent. This was a good pick by them. 10/10 on turn 4, and we might actually not win. And even if we hit, like, Taunt Dragons, they're going to be able to remove, like, our entire board, right? It's crazy. And they have 14 damage, so we're just dead? Feels like we're just dead. I guess we have to take the taunt. And this doesn't even matter. Another thing that's going to die. So what's the play? They go boom, rush one in, rush the second one in. Feels like we're not winning. Boom, boom, and then they can make this trade and remove this if they really wanted to. They decide to go face, though. We're likely just dead next turn. We have second amulet. Does it ever save us?
Let's muddy the waters.
No, it's looking like we're just dead. Sorceress is the best play, but we risk on making this cost more. If you add 1 to 2 mana row card, it says deal damage to all enemy minions equal to the amount of cards you've played this turn. That would be interesting. But yeah, typically they don't give rogue AoE. That's supposed to be like one of the weaknesses of the rogue class. So I actually don't remember this interaction. If I play this and this, does everything get frozen?
Whatever shall I do?
Can't remember, so I'm just going to make this play.
The muscle and the magic.
Oh, wow.
Only so much time.
Feels like that's a wicked stab. So they can't actually kill off this guy.
Every nightmare must end.
But we still have to do this anyway? Ugh. This game is not going well at all. Unfortunate. They only drew 10 cards. They just drew the correct 10 cards. Alright, it's time to play some Casino Rogue of our own. Warlock card has a similar effect, costs 6 mana, so that might be a little bit too good. Yeah. Yeah, that rogue card would be insane because when you start thinking about the other cards they have available, like the rogue location, to be able to summon a minion based on cards played, if you could AoE and remove your opponent's entire board and create a big stealth minion in the same turn, that's just like crazy strong. I really like the look of that new baby. Prep boat. I like it. So this is the version that I'm playing, and we're actually running, instead of Blood in the Water, a Sharan Vessel. Matty dog. What, do you not like a Sharan Vessel? I think my dog just told me that running a Sharan Vessel is, in place of Blood in the Water, is bad. As soon as I said that, she started whining a little bit. Easy for Warlocks to have a full hand. Yeah, that's true. It's going to be really easy for Warlock to have a full hand. Once those new cards come out, being able to draw cards based on the amount of imps that you have seems pretty insane. Alright, so it's just prep a Sharan Vessel here for sure, right? Is this Curse Warlock? That seems interesting. I gotta step away to let my dog out. I'll be right back. Not too long. Outside. Well, pretty much Okani is our only play here, so we just trade Okani, and we're going to have to block a minion for sure because they still have the coin in hand. Blocking the coin would be really bad. I think this also means they're going to have cheap gnolls. Maybe free gnolls, right? Every single person going to play Imp Warlock once the expansion drops? Yeah, they could. It'll be interesting. I'm planning on playing a lot of different stuff those first couple of days. Just so many different things to be able to do. Oh, they give us a 2/9. So, we need something to do. We need a nice little top deck here. We haven't been able to generate anything to go in our Tess, so Tess is kind of like just a dead card in our hand. 7 mana, 6/6, not very good. We do have Crab on 6 though. No. So, I mean, we can go dagger, wicked stab to clean this up, and then just play the knoll, and then we're gonna have crab the following turn. Feels pretty good, I think. Actually, I'm a doofus. I don't have enough mana. Probably should have played the prep wicked stab to be able to dagger up, so I think that's definitely a misplay. That's just me not paying attention. Probably changes the game by quite a bit as well. Yeah, see, they wouldn't have been able to remove our knoll if I'd done that correctly. Do we ever just crab? I mean, they've played Shroud, so I think we want to save our crab for their crab, which means we start with a trade and hope that we hit something. Is there any reason to prep Shroud? I mean, Knoll would still be playable. We wouldn't want to play the Queen of Shara. We don't want to play Trickster. Yeah, I think we just Shroud. We hit a Trickster, now we just need something to be able to do with it. Again, just saving the crab. I mean, if they crab on turn 6, we have a 2/9 on the board, so it's just not very strong for them. There's the Queen. And we have no spells to activate this. We've hit no jackpots, no reconnaissance. We haven't drawn Gone Fishing to be able to fish up our vessel. It's definitely a crab turn. Just going to push as much damage face as we can here, too. There's no way I'm ever trading for 2/2s. We kill this in case of, like, some kind of weird shadow step. Put as much pressure on our opponent as we possibly can here. They still have created cards, I think, with the jackpot. Crab's still not super great for him. Blood in the water's okay. Too many dead cards in hand. Contraband stash. We're drawing cards in the wrong order this game. I think I think we actually have to tempo test even though it does nothing and push 4 damage face. It's sad, but that's the reality of where we're at. So now Crab's significantly better for our opponents. Feels like a game where we're going to get really close and then just lose. There's the crab. This hand is extremely unfortunate. I mean, if I can hit the Gone Fishing or the second vessel, I think we just win unless they're able to create some kind of a taunt. I'm assuming that they have Queen of Shara in hand, and it could even be active. We're actually just dead next turn. Shroud does nothing. Shroud actually does nothing. We draw Maestra. That's crazy. Like, I can't even hit Scabs? We're just dead, man. That is wild.
Let's muddy the waters.
I think they got exact lethal on the board. That is crazy, man. Talk about bad luck. If we had drawn I think, did we actually lose because I didn't prep out the Wicked Stab? That was actually the losing play? Because the Knoll would have stayed on the board for at least one more turn, which was 3 damage. We're going Big Beast. Yeah, Tempo Stash with nothing in it, man. Absolutely awful. We drew no jackpots, no reconnaissance, no nothing. Unfortunate, but it does happen. I don't know if you saw it or not, but before the Tempo Stash, we had to play a Tempo Tess that also did nothing. Right about the whole thing about being close to win and then lose. Yeah, we just didn't draw anything. It isn't actually worthless if we play it on turn 1. We're just going to ping it down on turn 2. We'll start with the Slither Spear.
My blood boils for war. That's right. Feel the groove.
Big Spell Mage. So we need to play around the Barbaric Sorceress. Like, we can't give them a 0 mana spell. It can't happen. Do we want to protect this? I mean, I really don't want to give them a value trade, but the only way we can protect would be... I think we actually just quick shot face here. No reason to quick shot this. We'll let them make the trade. Get as much damage face as we can. Maybe we can play this when it would be awkward for our opponent to hero power. Treasure Guard. Well, the Treasure Guard trades into this really well. There's a Mountain Bear, so turn 4 we can go double coin, or I'm sorry, turn 5 double coin Mountain Bear. It feels like it's a long way off. It's this, right? That'll let us get the bear out even earlier. We don't have a way to be able to dredge up the Asharan Saber if it dies. I think we need to get the bear out as early as possible. And we're just going to spend mana here, I guess. This card's never going to be good. We might as well just get it on the board. So they just Okani'd a minion, which absolutely destroys our plans. So I think we actually double coin out the battle ram here and hope that they don't have the silence. And then we're going to have to play the Devouring Swarm prior to... Actually, we have to play it now, right? Because they'll be able to coin out the... they'll be able to coin out the Barbaric Sorceress, and we don't want them to be able to discount their big spells.
Do you take me for an ordinary mage?
Actually ends up being irrelevant because they discounted with the Belinda. So how do we win here? They're going to play a 5-mana amulet. They punch us in the face for 10. Is there ever a way that we can set up a lethal with King Crush? It's just too slow, right? We don't get there, so I have to play this. Doesn't look like we're winning this game. I mean, we could track to try to find something, then we still get hit for 10. We'd be able to play Crush next turn. Let's go this, this. Then we have Crush. We need to hit like Revive Pet. And still find a way to be able to do even more damage. I think we just have to try to buy some time here. So we'll still be able to get King Crush out as early as turn 7 and try to track for a Revive Pet. Even with the dragons here, hopefully they don't hit anything with Rush. They do hit a taunt though. Harpoon gun is late. I think this is pretty much in concede territory at this point. I think this is just over. It's a waste of time to keep playing. Unfortunate. We're going the wrong way. Higher ranks are the other direction. Man, the early Belinda just ends the game. Unless I'm the one that plays it, then somehow my opponent is able to survive. Through randomly created cards. That always feels bad. I understand, like, Discover being a fun mechanic, and it is slightly skill testing because you have to pick between one of 3 cards. But there's a lot of times where Discover and Created By just gives one of the players a win on the spot. And I think that's supposed to be part of the attraction of Hearthstone. They don't want anybody's win rate to be so low that they just don't play anymore. So Hearthstone gives you wins. But it feels really bad when you're on the receiving side of it. Looks like we're up against another rogue. Playing Quest Hunter, so we're going to keep the damage spell. Question is, are we keeping Dunbaldar Bunker? I think we do. The secrets are good against Rogue. Freezing Trap is good. Explosive Trap. It doesn't really clear any of their minions, but it does advance the quest. And then the Ice Trap. I think we keep Bunker in this matchup. This is actually Warrior. I'm going to be shocked. Shocked and sad because of how long the game is going to go. 40 card Rogue. Please be 40 card Rogue. Hearthstone wasn't meant for long games. In my opinion, it's just so much more fun. Quick games, in and out. Discover is like a light Zephyrus if you think about it, which when you put it that way sounds OP. Yeah, I mean, when it feels like... Well, I think it's actually Warrior. Because these Griefer control warriors tend to rope so much. Turn 2 is rope armor up. That's going to be classic Warrior gameplay. Well, at least they didn't rope. So I think we're actually going to go the Tavish route this game. We want to make sure that we don't play 4 damage spells before we get this online on turn 5. I think we actually just hero power here. It's going to take them forever to be able to get in a situation where they can kill us. Probably actually should have played the Dunbaldar Bunker. I forgot this was even in my hand. I was too busy crying about how our opponent is playing a control deck. Just going to go Bunker and Barb Nets here. It's also going to activate our Kraken Bane. Warrior has a limited number of times they can clear the board, so we'll be making boards with Tavish. and lots of spells and zero-cost animal companions. Warrior players have unlimited patience. I just think they're griefers. I've said it a bunch of times. I truly believe if you're playing Control Warrior on ladder that you're griefing. Alright, so we do this. We complete part 1 of the quest. Next turn we're just going to coin out the Tavish. As far as the secrets that we're going to play, I really like the emergency maneuver secret when it summons 2 copies, especially when you have the legendary in hand, Raj Najan. But we don't have that. And it's also possible that we're going to be playing like Kraken Bane or Kodo Bane soon. If we play Kodo Bane, we would actually have to throw away a card, so I think we just get the Tavish in play. Freezing Trap seems fine. I mean, Ice Trap. I'm just going to take the emergency maneuvers. I mean, Explosive Trap, it advances our quest, but they're likely not going to be hitting into us. They've played no weapons. They have no minions on board. And this at least gives us something. If we hit like a Huffer next turn, then we could potentially resummon 2 Huffers. There's the axe, but they're not going to swing because they're afraid it's Explosive Trap and they don't want to advance quest. So, we're going to Huffer. Oh. Okay. And I think we're just going to get the Kraken Bane down here, right? Spend our mana. We'll advance our quest a little bit. Do a little damage. They'll rope turn 2 and the only thing they can do is hero power. They do, man! Like, rope armor up? I tweeted when Control Warrior was good, before all the nerfs came through, that the reason why they actually nerfed Control Warrior is because rope armor up plays were up like 1,000%, and they realized how bad it was for the game. Actual griefing on the ladder. I gotta grab Maddie Dog, she's ready to come back in. So I have 1 dog, 1 cat. My dog's name is Maddie, as you've heard me mention. And Maddie, when we let her outside, when she's ready to come back in, she'll, like, scratch the door. So I call it, like, knocking. She's knocking to come back inside. But she will actually, like, knock on the door and then walk away. It's like almost being pranked. Like, sometimes kids in the neighborhood will ring the doorbell and then take off running. My dog actually does that to me when I let her in the backyard. Alright, so we're going to get a free hero power here. I'm going to start with the Marked Shot just to see what we find. Use it on the highest attack minion. Kraken Bane's not great. I'm going to take the Shell Shot. I mean, it's a nature spell, which is good for our multicaster, and it doesn't clear the board, but it is going to help. Plus, it's just clean. It spends our mana. Probably hoping to actually kill this guy. Oh wait, we killed both. I'm trolling. And we hit the Huffer. Now we sit here pleased with ourselves because we're high rolling. Come on, Huffer. They now have a 5 mana shield block in hand. This is great. 1 spell away from completing the quest. So, another thing to keep in mind, really in all these matchups, We get 2 Kraken Banes. Man, if it would have been 2 Huffers. Explosive Trap can work against you in some matchups. We're playing Control Warrior, so we would assume that they're going to be running Mutinous. And if you complete the quest and you're not able to play that 5-mana minion, then Mutinous, potentially you just lose the game on the spot. Sometimes you can still win, it depends on your opponent. But we don't want to lose our quest reward, so you have to be careful. And what I mean by that is, let me complete my thought. You have Explosive Trap in play, they attack into it, and you get the 5/5 in hand on your opponent's turn, and then they can play Mutinous. But we're not going to have that problem. We're going to complete the quest, and then we're going to play the quest. And then we can actually Ice Trap again. Yeah, we're going to get the Ice Trap down, and then we'll go ahead and fill up our board here. And we hit another Huffer. So our opponent, they've played 1 Brawl, they need 2nd Brawl. We have an Ice Trap in play. They can also potentially use the, what is that thing, the Frozen Buckler and Shield Shatter. Would clear up a lot of the board, but you can see here, we're still high rolling. We likely just kill our opponent. Gotta feel bad for him, man. He's probably really mad right now. That's maybe enough to prevent us from killing our opponent. But not when we're high rolling Huffers, potentially. I want to wait to attack because we want to see how many Leoks we're going to summon. Could potentially miss damage if you start attacking and you maybe summon more of these guys. So Leok or Huffer here is lethal. And we're really good at rolling Huffers, so we just win. Easy matchup, Control Warrior, do nothing all game. He equipped a weapon. Did he ever attack with the weapon? Equip a weapon, turn 5, never attack. Like, what are you doing with your life? Talk about a waste of time. At least we had fun on our side. Was anything about that game fun for our opponent? Take out a weapon and just stand there. Try to gain armor, it gets bounced back to your hand. Brawl. Low roll the Brawl, so there's a 7/7 on the board. Like, playing Control Warrior, not only are you griefing your opponent, you're actually griefing yourself. Wasting your life. Oh man, poor guy. Hopefully he learned his lesson and he will never, never play Control Warrior ever again. Alright, not good. Piercing Shot's a damage spell. I'm inclined to keep it. We lose by our opponent just making a ridiculously wide board that we can't do anything about. Maybe we actually toss the Piercing. I'm inclined almost to keep Ice Trap because I don't like that turn 4 Wild Paw Caverns, but we're going to toss all this and look for something better. Warrior feels like a waste of space right now. Yeah, it's not a good deck. It's a really bad deck. Which makes me happy. Unless like Aggro Warrior or something along the lines of Patron Warrior would come back. Oh! We're fighting Murlocs. So we just need to make sure that our opponent never has a board to be able to buff and kill us with. So that means we're just going to quick shot this guy right here. Remove the most damage that we can off the board. Standing there menacingly, yeah. Be afraid of my 3/3 weapon that I never swing with. So likely next turn, because they didn't play any minions whatsoever, likely next turn it's going to be the Gorlock Ravager, which is going to be 3 mana. So they're just going to be drawing a bunch of cards. I think we actually coin Mark Shot. Hope to find either a secret or a low mana damage spell. We're going to have the Kraken activated as well, which will be good. And then our hero power will be able to go be able to go minions. Could even actually just like Kraken this to get a 3/3 on the board. Like having a board presence actually feels pretty good now that I think about it. Save the spell. Minion on board for tempo feels good here. And then we can tracking. Damage spell versus freezing trap. I'm going to take the freezing because the way that we lose this is if our opponent gets a board and then they buff it. So this actually puts something back in their hand. There's the Ravager as expected. We can even go like quick shot on this. We really don't want to freezing trap the 1/2 or the 1/1 that comes out of it. We likely just value trade. There's the cold light. Shell shot. They have 12 on board. We can do 9. So how do we set it up? Shell shot also wastes mana. I mean, I can still punch the 4/5 and quick shot. I really don't want to freezing trap this back into their hand. What's the best way to not take damage here? Just like quick shot, freezing trap. They likely attack with this. This guy goes face. Seems okay. This likely never gets played again at 3 mana. If they make this trade, then we could even just like hero power to kill it. We just need to complete the quest. I mean, we'll be able to draw cards. We can replay multiple hero powers just to keep his board clear. Just trying to keep Murlocs off the board. Looks like our minion is being removed and our opponent is going wide. So this is what we were afraid of. Second clownfish. That's unfortunate. Here's an aim shot. So we go aim shot, then we can shell shot. This is going to be 4 damage. Feels like we're going to be able to... Oh wait, I'm a doofus. We can't play both. Aim shot Furious Howl doesn't seem very good either. It's actually a really bad board state for us. So we go aim shot and just hero power this. Leaves 3 Murlocs on the board. I think we have to. It's unfortunate, but it's our best play. That was a strong turn for our opponent. No more clownfish though. We might actually have to dodge Brucon this game as well. High probability that Shell Shot actually just doesn't even clear up very many minions. Possibly no minions, depend on how it hits. And at this point, you know, with this wide board, we're just dead to like a Bloodlust as well. Tavish is the play. That's a sick top deck. Now we just need to actually hit explosive. Is it ever snakes? They probably actually never trade into any minion on the board. So it's Ice Trap. And explosive? Yeah. So if they try to play like the no fin, it gets bounced back to their hand, and it looks like that's not even an issue. So we clear up a lot of the board here. We're going to be able to shell shot and get a free hero power. So we can go like this. It's looking better. Really the only low roll off of this is a Leok. Our opponent still has lots of cards in hand, and we're actually, like, getting lower. What do we start with here? I guess the marked shot on the highest health. And we take the quick shot. We take the quick shot because now with our hero power, we don't get the extra damage. It's 1 mana cheaper, and 3 damage and 3 damage is the same. So now we shell shot and hope that we go boom, boom, boom. Nice, over here. Alright, you goofed. Next turn we'll be able to get the Tavish down. We just take the trade there, make sure there's nothing on the board. Yeah, Quest Hunter should be good against Murloc Shaman, but feels like our opponent is making things happen. Oh, it's the toughest matchup for Murloc Shaman? Man, don't be saying stuff like that in the chat, because I feel like I'm about to lose. You're gonna make me look bad. Is it just these two? Has to be, right? This represents the most damage. Feels like we're actually still just dead here. Pretty close to dead. We need to be able to play like several hero powers in a single turn, and our hand just isn't really letting us do that. Alright, can we kill him? All damage goes face, right? Like, we're at 3, so we have to kill our opponent. I like it. It's pretty good. We just won the game, right? Oh, we Giga won the game. Thanks, brother. So you can see right there, just on a dime, we turned from defense into kill our opponent. So a lot of that was because we had no chance of actually being able to clear the board. But once that quest reward is in play, we're really looking to kill our opponent and do damage. Again, I don't think we had a choice, only being at 3 health. There was no way we were going to be able to clear their entire board there. So we just had to go for damage and hope that we killed our opponent. So, told you so. Yeah, that's right. You were right. Easy claps. Alright, I need to step away for just a second. I gotta hit the restroom and maybe get another bottle of water. I don't have very many friends online, but just so you guys have something to do, I'm gonna spectate a game. I will be back really quickly. And then we're gonna be queuing back up. We're gonna keep going with Quest Hunter until such time as we lose, and then we'll switch it up. Appreciate you guys watching. I will be back in a moment.
Magic in the wrong hands leads to madness. Hey, where'd my deck go? That's right. Feel the groove.
We're back. Oh, baby. I left you guys on spectating somebody that was playing Quest Priest. Griefing my own live stream, chat. That is unfortunate. My apologies. I'll make sure I take the opportunity to say thank you to you guys. I know at least some of the people that are in, I think, still in the chat right now have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Thank you just for stopping by and hanging out too. Really just can't say that enough. Really appreciate your support. It's always nice to have people in the chat when I do a live stream. I don't live stream very often just because I have so many other commitments going on. I work a full-time job. I'm married, I have kids, things like that. I think I'm keeping both of these. I'm expecting this to be like aggro beast druid. And if it's alignment druid, we just need to like complete the quest as quickly as possible. But yeah, big thank you. If anybody's here hanging out and you haven't subscribed, I just appreciate you stopping by and watching a little bit. It's actually rogue. So we want to hold our spells because we need to be able to remove stuff. Good hero power. Is it ever worth it to draw one card? Probably not. We have cheap stuff in hand, so it's more likely that we'll be able to draw more than one card later. It's gonna hero power. Damage is pretty relevant in this matchup against the rogue as well. They only have 30 health, and the only healing that they may have is scabs. That looks like the coin. Coin shroud. Looks like they hit a free null as well. Double null. I don't like it. We did get a good top deck though, so I mean we can go like Barb Nets, Arcane Shot, and Wound Prey. That removes a null and puts a 1/1 in play. They may just dagger up and swing into this. And then we can kill second null with just a piercing shot, which would actually complete like part 2 of the quest by that point, so. Also gets a lot of cards out of our hand. Considering we have the Furious Howl, so if turn 4 does end up being just a piercing shot, you know, Furious Howl will at least draw 2 cards. So that's nice. Yeah, sub today, you're a good commentator, and you explained every play very well. Thank you for saying that, man. I really appreciate that. That's what I always try to do. Just because... So I try to make like videos and things that I would want to watch. And one thing that I've noticed is sometimes... And it's hard to do because you're trying to focus on the game and you're trying to like interact with the chat, or you're trying to explain a point when you're making a video. And the challenge is you get distracted by playing the game and then you don't complete a thought or you don't complete a sentence. And so I try to always make sure that I fully complete what I'm trying to communicate. And I feel like, you know, that's an area... Yeah, this is just quick shot and we're going to ping this off. We're still in the phase of the game where we're playing defensively. We just don't want to take a lot of damage. So the hero power kills the minion rather than go on face. So you deserve it. Thank you. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so I try to make sure that I fully communicate what I'm trying to say. And again, just try to make content that I would want to watch on YouTube. And I honestly, I have no idea how that stacks up against other people because I don't watch other content on YouTube. I do watch live streams on Twitch. That's definitely different. That's more comparable, I guess, to what I'm doing now. But I feel like if you watch too much of what other people are doing, then it affects what you're doing. So, like, if I watched a lot of YouTube and a lot of other people that are making videos, then my videos would become more like theirs, which is overall bad. I mean, variety is always a good thing, you know? Other people do their thing, I do my thing, and it's great. And actually, I heard that concept from a music artist, and I don't remember who it was, but I don't even remember what genre they were in. But they said, I don't listen to music from the genre that I create because I don't want my stuff to start to sound more like what other people are doing. Which is pretty incredible when you think about that from the standpoint of being an artist, you know, and the purity of the art that you're trying to create. So we have no damage spells here. I think we go Explosive, Furious Howl to draw 2. Or we go Bunker, right? Bunker is more card draw. What am I talking about, Explosive? Yeah, so we're going Bunker, and then we're going to draw 2. And then we're going to go face... With Spring the Trap, we're likely looking at being able to get all the traps out of our deck. Also a damage spell, which is nice. We've got a Freezing to bounce this back. Both Knolls are gone. They could potentially have Crab. If they have Crab, then they could wait a turn and they would be able to bounce back one of the claws. Could even just like ping and Spring the Trap to get 2 secrets in play. Then we have a couple of 2/2s that die to an Explosive Trap. I like it. It also just takes power off the board. Yeah, and we did hit Explosive Trap, so these just die now. No reason to play the Freezing, because kind of a waste at this point. So we pass the turn, and when our opponent attacks, we're going to get Tavish. And then at that point, we're just going to be trying to kill him. It's true, you also got to research to see what the meta is, so you have to balance it. That's true. I learned a lot about the meta from Twitter, honestly. Just being able to keep up with... Basically, most of it is like the Grandmasters players, the players that are like well-known tournament players, and then things like Vicious Syndicate, and there's one that's, I think it's pronounced Ahirun. I think it's Ahirun. They retweet a lot of Hearthstone stuff. And so then that helps you know kind of what's going on in the scene, the decks. Like I saw earlier, we were talking about how Just Concede hit rank 1 with Beast Druid. I saw the tweet, and so that's how, you know, I can be aware of the list. And that's actually a lot of work. Like, when I think about how much time I spend, like, looking at Twitter, checking deck lists, and all that kind of thing, I try not to think about it too much. Because it's a lot of time. But I enjoy it. I mean, it's like a fun hobby for me, you know? They likely block a minion here. I mean, they block a minion because they're trying to hit this, so we just, like, don't let them do it, right? What's the best way to go about it, though? Throwing away the Kraken. We really don't even need the draw from the multicaster, right? Like, we can just throw this away. We definitely don't want to Freezing Trap that back. Could try to kill this, but then we're spending spells from our hand. But it allows us to hold on to our 2 minions. Actually, Freezing Trap likely just replays it, but then next turn we could go this and Tavish. Oh, they countered a spell. That's crazy, dude. What are they thinking? I'm pretty sure T Skillet just misplayed. I guess he mind-gamed me. But, I don't think it really matters. That's an interesting choice by them. But, I mean, we had other minions we could have thrown away if it was minion. Losing 1 spell isn't that big a deal. They have to deal with the 7/7. So, we are going to kill this now. See if we can Freezing Trap this guy. So we are putting a lot of damage into that minion, but it also prevents them from being able to shadow step that. So we get our freezing trap down now. Go face. And we'll go ahead and play our ice trap. We're going to shoot face again. And then we're going to Kraken face as well. So potentially they could still have like the crab or scabs. If they heal back to 20, it's not that big a deal. We're winning this game. I mean, we have lots of card draw in hand. We're still really healthy. Honestly surprised, just concede hit rank 1 with Beast Druid. Feel like the meta has to be very specific for that. I agree 100%. Oh, we just bounced Smite. And our opponent attacked face. That's like crazy, man. I think you definitely trade to be able to heal there, right? Well, maybe it doesn't matter because we still have a 7-1. They were just dead at that point. But yeah, I agree with you 100% there on that point about just concede. I saw that and I was like, that's not a good deck. And then I saw other people trying to do it. Like I was watching some Twitch last night, and the person that I was watching, guy's name is Bandit Keith. Started following him on Twitter, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. He had, as far as I'm aware, he was the first person to start playing Peasants in Mind Rogue. And, you know, I really enjoy Mind Rogue. So I followed him on Twitter, and then at that point I found out he was a streamer. Let's see. I'll get back to that as soon as we mulligan here. We're just keeping the damage spells, right? It's likely Quest Priest. We just want to complete the quest and kill them, because they're not going to be healing an awful lot. But, so anyway, he is a streamer, and, you know, not very big. When I was watching him last night, he had anywhere from, like, I don't know, 12 to 20 viewers. But, you know, by what he's saying on the stream, you know, he's grinding, he's trying to grow his audience. And, but anyway, he was playing that Beast Druid deck last night, and I know at some point while I was watching, he said he was like 3-12 with the deck. Like, it just was not winning, and he's definitely a good player. So, you know, it wasn't like a skill issue, it was just Beast Druid was bad against the decks he was facing on the ladder. So, but I do think anytime somebody hits rank 1, yes, they're a good player, and yes, they're playing really well, but there is a luck factor to it with matchups. You know, hitting the right matchups, and then also just being able to draw the cards. So it's kind of like one of those things, not to take anything away from the people that are hitting rank 1. You know, again, they're high skill and they're playing really well, but it's kind of like everything else in life. It's where hard work and dedication cross paths with right place, right time. And those two things, when it comes to success, one doesn't mean anything without the other. Like, I know people who are hardworking and dedicated, but they've just never had the break that they really needed, you know? And so, yeah, they're hardworking and they're amazing at their craft, whatever that may be. I want an arcane shot just to get something in the multicaster. And then we'll get the 1/1 down as well. But I know several people who are very, very good at what they do, and unfortunately they're still just kind of like on that bottom rung when it comes to their career, or close to the bottom rung. So, hard work and dedication go a long way, but you still just have to have that, you know, good fortune come along. See it a lot with professional athletes as well. I mean, you have to be in amazing physical shape. You have to have the physical gifts to begin with. And then, but, you know, sometimes you get hurt and it ends your career. So this is another Mutinous deck, and if we play this, they can kind of choose when they want to activate it. And they could choose to activate it at an inopportune time for us. But it has the benefit of being a fire spell, which means multicaster draws 2. So what if we just go explosive and barb nets? This goes face. We'll go explosive. They might think it's a freezing trap. And then the barbed nets goes... They could actually heal if they wanted to. Barbed nets goes face. They have ways of being able to heal this. I think this deck runs Gift of the Nauru. They have the hero power. I don't like the idea of this trading into the multicaster, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. That's not, we don't win with board presence. I actually knew a guy who worked for it was a beer distribution company. And so, I mean, he just went to, you know, whatever stores sold, like, I don't know, Miller Lite and filled it up. But anyway, he played football in college and he was an absolute monster. And he spent several years in his early 20s going to like NFL training camps. And he would get down to like the last cut and then get cut. And eventually he had to give it up. He was like, man, I got so close so many times, but how important is it to kill this thing? I mean, I think we just arcane shot and then coin the multicaster. It also gives us a free hero power, but again, the explosive trap kind of scares me because they can proc it and potentially mutinous our hero. We just need to get there and play it before turn 7. That draws 2 damage face. But he actually, yeah, we're never going to play this because our hero power is already 0. But he said, you know, every time I would stop and go to these training camps in the summer, I had to quit my job, and then I would eventually get cut, and then I was starting over with a new job. And he said, eventually I just had to give it up. Couldn't keep trying anymore. And he was so close, and he may have actually been good enough. You know, maybe he just wasn't fortunate enough to catch the eye of the right person or whatnot. It's just kind of how life is. So our opponent definitely seems concerned with healing themselves, but I really don't think it's going to be enough. I mean, I've won this matchup even if our opponent gets down the Behemoth, the Colossal, with lifesteal. It's just never enough. Like, they don't kill us if they don't complete the quest. I mean, yeah. This is going to line up with their mutinous turn, though, but, I mean, we can't just sit here and do nothing. We made the decision to play the explosive, so we're kind of in on it now. Ideally, we hit, like, either barbed nets or wound prey. But, I mean, even if they play a minion, we can remove it with piercing shot. I mean, that preserves the explosive, but we're still not able to... We're not going to be able to play around the mutinous. The only good thing is it wouldn't advance their quest, but if they eat our quest reward, we're pretty much just toast. Pretty much just toast at that point. So the question is, do they have it? Do I even just like freezing trap? If I freezing trap, this becomes a 6 and it actually allows them to advance the quest, so that's a no. I guess at this point we just complete the quest and hope they don't have mutinous. That's tough. That's really tough. But that's where we're at. Also tough that we're stuck with a dead card in our hand with a Furious Howl. Alright. If they have it, maybe we reconsider actually playing Tavish here. But I mean, they've got a... It's a 40 card deck. Surely they're not sitting on Mutinous. Alright, so we do this. Definitely we're getting down the Tavish. Freezing Trap, this becomes a 7. which again helps them complete the quest, but just being able to get this 7 damage face, I mean, I think we have plenty of time. They have to play a 6, 7, 8, then they have to play the reward. I mean, they're at least 5 turns from killing us, and that assumes that they would be able to play the shard on the very next turn. So we're going to freezing trap here and just go ahead and get this damage face. And again, even if they have the Colossal, it's not that big a deal. They heal, but we have more than enough damage. Quest Priest Resident Sleeper, yeah, I know, right? Unfortunately, Twitch emotes don't work on YouTube. Unfortunate. Does YouTube have any kind of emotes or anything? Like, I honestly don't know.
I could have sworn it went back together.
That's also unfortunate. I mean, I don't really want to heal my opponent for 8. Spring the Trap actually doesn't pull anything out of our deck. Well, it pulls Ice Traps. So we go like Ping, Ice Trap. Then we can Conch, Ping this, just so they don't get the healing. Feels like we're putting a lot of damage into, like, minions, though. It's only 4 damage, and we're trying to prevent 8 healing. Do we ever just let them have the healing?
Let none survive.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and track here. Aim shot. Kraken Bane seems fine. 5 damage is pretty strong. I doubt they ever let this get bounced back to their hand. It has some emojis. I've never seen those before. What did we Ice Trap? Desperate Prayer. Let's see, they still need a 7 and an 8 here. I'm tempted to kill off my own 7/7 just so that they don't get the healing from this. Like, boom, ping my own 7/7. We don't have any expensive spells to be able to utilize this. Oh, and they actually ate it, which is unfortunate. So we have Explosive and Freezing. There's another Ice Trap. We're actually struggling to find the damage to kill our opponent here. Like, the Explosive and Freezing blocks us from playing these. We can't use Furious Howl. We never want to play Tavish.
Nowhere to hide.
Do we actually Furious Howl for 1? It's unfortunate, but I kind of feel like we're at a place where we have to, because things are going to get out of control really quickly here. And we can't afford to put a minion on the board because of the Colossal. I don't think we even have any secrets left to draw. But it did let us get an extra hero power. It's really interesting that YouTube doesn't have those emotes. Or that there's not like a third party that does them for YouTube. Oh wow, they actually do freezing trap this thing, but it dies so they heal. It's a good play. Actually a really good play from our opponent. be able to explosive and freezing trap. That puts us up to 6-11. They're actually trying to get the light shower back. And see, this is unfortunate, because if this is able to hit face... Yeah, we just don't have enough damage this game. I think at this point it's just a concede, because we can't remove the behemoth. I guess we can remove the behemoth, but it just takes... It soaks 10 damage.
Vengeance is near.
Which is unfortunate. And we just go ahead and play the freezing trap here. So we're still looking for card draw to be able to close this out. We have one Furious Howl, one Multicaster, and Kodo Bane. So we have 3 good draws out of 16. And our opponent can potentially play the hero card. Hero card heals them for 10 because they get 5 armor plus the hero power to heal for 5. Feels like we're just not getting there. Our opponent is also able to put out a lot of pressure with minions on the board. There's a multicaster. It's not enough though, right? Like we don't have enough mana to be able to do this. Let's see, 14, 19, 21. Gracious. I have to piercing shot this. Seems like. We still don't have enough damage to be able to kill our opponent here. I think it's a loss. Unfortunate. I'm not sure I've ever lost this matchup before. And they're able to heal for 4. I'm going to choose to say that I hate Hearthstone because I lost to RNG. I was guaranteed to kill him from 15 before he played this. That's not true. I don't think I was killing him. Because we have 2, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he's back to 26, so... It's over. Aim shot was a good top deck, too. If these were spells, especially damage spells, we may have had a chance, but we're just not getting there. It ended up being close, though. If they didn't have, like, the Desperate Prayer and the Devouring Plague, really close. RNG is the worst enemy in Hearthstone? Yeah. I could see what you're saying on that. I don't necessarily disagree, but it didn't have anything to do that game. That game was just like bad draw order from us. I feel like we definitely should have won that game. We just didn't get the cards we needed, but that's not unique to Hearthstone. That's all trading card games, right? Like you're just subject to drawing the correct cards.
You shall pay for your insolence.
Oof. Am I keeping these? You know, I've always wondered, can you tell what your opponent mulligans by watching the cards? Because when they mouse over a card, it highlights, right? So if they highlight this card, it's because they're clicking on it. But some people like do this. But potentially, he highlighted this card and mulliganed, which means it's not Quest Hunter, it's Big Beast Hunter. What do you think? Am I going too deep? Too deep, too crazy? Alright, Pelican Diver. Do your worst. No quest, so it is Big Beast. Oh, it's Rogue. I'm sitting there trying to figure out, based on the highlighting of the cards, is it Quest Hunter? And it was Rogue all along. Hearthstone's RNG is crazy because you can actually get cards you don't have in your deck or in your collection. That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
That's right. Feel
Let's get a minion on the board. Should be a good matchup for us, especially if we can draw like a barbaric sorceress. So we just continue to play stuff. I mean, this is card draw, and it's not going to die to an individual null, which protects these others. Maybe we actually win by going Tempo King this game. That would be insane against Rogue. Yeah, I was talking, Gonzalo, just a little while ago about RNG and Hearthstone, and I mentioned that it is a little bit skill testing because you get 3 choices when it comes to like the discovers, but sometimes like the choice is just so obvious and so strong. But the argument in favor of it is it makes the game more interesting, which I think is actually true. Like, look at how interesting this game is. Why would he shadow step that? Oh, he shadow stepped it to get the 0 cost spell out of his hand? Do we still just double coin this? With this many cards in hand, surely a rogue still has spells. And even if they don't, this is still a 3/7. But we don't have any spells in hand. What am I doing? I needed to play this to actually draw a spell first. Alright, so we're going for a different approach here. We're going to push 12 damage. And try to Tempo King. Oh, our opponent's emoting us. I wonder what that means. So we can actually... We have a 2-turn lethal. Reckless Apprentice Ping into Ping.
Let's muddy the waters.
And what is this? Contraband stash, so we actually can't get there. Look at all of these things. But we still just have a 2-turn lethal, right? He can't kill these to be able to heal, so we ping, and then next turn we've got Reckless Apprentice Ping, and they still just die.
No waves can sink the ship.
Unless they were able to discover some kind of healing. We're gonna find out if we get wrecked by RNG. I guess he can use his own damage spells to kill something. Like he could Tooth of Nefarian, his own 6/3 to go back to 10. Pretty likely that he has it now, I think. Oh, he just gained mana. Chaos Nova. Alright, so he is back to 10. We're going to have to keep playing this game, unfortunately. We're going to have a Rune of the Archmage on turn 8, and then this on turn 9. Looks like they're going to end up healing again as well. That's crazy. If I lose, this game is totally my fault because of how I botched up the barbaric sorceress.
We have plotted long enough. Now we run.
They're getting a colossal now as well. It's pretty good, but we're going to get carried by Rune of the Archmage. We have RNG also. Alright, so Pyroblast Face is actually just lethal here. You gotta believe in the heart of the cards. Turn's not over. Something happened. Alright, freezing everything is good. But we healed our opponent. But we did remove their board as well. Archmage Pyro to the face, yeah man. Still need 7 more damage for the Mordresh. Really at this point just hoping to draw Dawn Grasp. Depending on what our opponent does, it could just be a Grey Sage Parrot, but we might need to save this for the next Contraband Stash or either Tess.
You can't always trust what you see.
Breakfire. So I think we go... I mean, we Second Flame, we Belinda. So we'll have a 5-mana rune and a 5-mana amulet. And then we can like play this and freeze the Knoll, so we never die. We have a huge minion on board, and we have like super cheap spells. It's just a really clean turn for us.
Ordinary mage?
Plus, I mean, we also have the 2/3, which is not totally irrelevant. Probably the strongest thing our opponent can do would either be Tess or Stash, which would likely extend the game. But I mean, we have 2 runes left in hand with these guys. We've got a cheap Drakefire. 2 dragons, 5 mana. Yeah, you still have to make sure that you don't low roll on the dragons, because you got the potential of getting like bad choices, but usually it works out pretty well. With 3 choices, I think the chances are really low that you don't get like a high stats dragon. Hey, Booker? Apologize if I pronounced your name incorrectly. Feel free to call me out if I did. What server is this? This is NA. The Near Airport server.
Time's ticking.
The only server that I play on is actually NA because I realized very early on when I started playing Hearthstone that owning a card collection on only one server is like insane to me. Like I can't believe that I can't take the collection that I own and go play in Europe or Asia or anything else. Did we ever kill him here? We got a bug. I hit him for 10. There's no way I'm going for box lethal, so I'm just going for Drakefire Amulet. And then we'll have a Drakefire in the hero card as well. Other option would be just like hero card ping. They're showing 4. That puts us at 13. They've used 1 tooth. This version does not run Smite, so we don't have to worry about that. I mean, we can rune first. I'm going to hit, then rune. and then Drake Fire.
Only so much time.
Ice Barrier's good. Oh, Explosive Runes. Gotta go fast on the Discovers. We want 12-12. And we'll take the 8-8. So I waited too late there. I always say if you're ever going to box, you need to do it earlier in the turn because you can run into problems with animation speed and ropes. Pain that you have to have one collection for every server. It's just too expensive. Like, it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be like that, in my opinion. Nice Edwin, by the way. Yeah, it's just way too expensive. Like, you either have to be a whale, or, you know, you have to have, like, a sponsor paying for to have cards on the other servers, which I don't. And honestly, even if somebody came to me and said, hey man, I'll buy you a collection on those other servers, I might even just tell them, save your money. Blizzard makes more than enough money off of Hearthstone. Like, it's just, at some point it's almost like the principle of the thing. Like, even if you have that disposable income, it's like the principle. Like, why am I buying the same thing 3 different times or 4 different times, you know, how many ever it is? Why am I buying the same thing? Like, it's crazy. We win. We're going to give the kill to Belinda here. Honorable kill. And Belinda may have won us the game with the 5-mana Drake Fire and the 5-mana Rune of the Archmage. Fortunately, we were able to overcome my misplay with the Barbaric Sorceress. That's another bottle of water gone. Ah, the only time I ever talk this much is when I'm live streaming. I'm just so thirsty all the time doing this. What is your favorite deck at this time? That's interesting. Right this moment, I would say my favorite deck is whatever is going to let me win the most. Simply because right now I just want to get a higher rank. And I'm willing to play decks that maybe I don't enjoy as much to do that. I think you have to sometimes be willing to play decks that you don't like in order to get a better rank. But when it comes to just fun, I think the deck that I enjoy the most is probably Jackpot Rogue, what we just played against. So this, looking right here, this is not golden, which makes me think this could be a rogue. If this is actually a mage, then it's going to be a mirror match. In which case, keeping Barbaric Sorceress is bad, because they're going to have the exact same 9 and 10 mana spells that we have. So, and this isn't always accurate, it's just like a bug in the game. This could be rogue. I mean, I don't want this against Mage either. But I'm going to operate as if this is a rogue. So I'm making an assumption here. If my assumption is wrong, then this mulligan is really bad. Bad enough that we may actually just lose the game keeping these cards. Competitive mindset. Yeah, I mean, it is. I would tell people that I'm a competitive person. But at the same time, like, when you're talking about competitive Hearthstone, I've never played a single tournament. I'm not sure I have a desire to play in a tournament. Maybe I would sometime for fun, but like, I'm not trying to go out and qualify for Masters Tours and all that other kind of thing. Like, I just don't have time to be able to invest in it. It actually is the mirror match. So this is really bad for us. We kept bad cards. Like, the only time this is ever good is if they actually have a coin in their hand, which they're not going to, unless they mess up. So here's the play. This is how we outplay our opponent. We Varden and freeze this and go face. Next turn, we trade, put a coin in their hand, and then we coin out the Barbaric Sorceress. The problem with this plan is that we have to top deck either Rune or Drakefire. But it feels like this is going to be our only out this game because our hand does nothing. These are bad, these are bad. This game is probably a loss, so our only out to be able to find a way to win here is we have to depend on top decking one of these 4 cards out of 23. And we missed. And there's no way this survives another turn. If we put the coin in his hand, he's just going to spend the coin. If they Sorceress and get a free spell, they just play it, so it's not like we can even switch it back. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And they can just ping and then spin the coin. Well, we need to get a spell in our hand, I guess, no matter what. Here's a rune. Are we just going face here? I think we're going face. We actually need to spend our own coin. Otherwise he can trade and then... yeah, that'd be bad. We allowed our opponent to get a free Drakefire. That would be bad. Why would it be golden if the hero isn't golden? There's a bug with Maestra. I actually suffer from it. I have a golden Maestra just because I opened one. And so there's something causes it to be like you have a golden portrait, but you don't have a golden circle around your hero power, and maybe like this part isn't gold. But you can see, I guess maybe I didn't notice because of the mulligan with the cards up here, but this isn't a golden portrait, so this isn't golden. But if you see like an animated portrait, something to do with Maestra is all I really know. So I know they have a Drakefire in hand. Wait, they still have the coin? They still have the coin? So I can just get a free Rune of the Archmage? This man is rank 87 and he held a coin in this match? Bro! Shame concede! That man misplayed so hard he shame conceded. Like, I bored you guys to death talking about how I needed to make sure I didn't have a coin because I didn't want to give my opponent a free spell, and then my man just casually does it. Holy cow, man. So we went from, I made an assumption that was incorrect, and may have even been stupid to make that assumption in the first place, just looking at hero portraits. I'm trying to 5-head my opponents by looking at hero portraits. Kept 2 cards that were bad for the matchup that I was up against. Then made a good play with the mailbox guy, trying to keep a coin in my opponent's hand. Made the correct play by drawing the spell with the evoker, and then my opponent totally misplays. So, I mean, that just shows, you know, don't concede too soon. Everybody's subject to misplays. How's he not even golden mage at rank 87? So it's just based on how many wins. I know you probably already know that, but somebody could be really good at Hearthstone, or maybe Mage is their least favorite class. There's a couple of different reasons. I mean, there's a lot of people who've played like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they come over to Hearthstone and they're just like immediately a really good player. So you could get to High Legend without having a lot of class wins. Or maybe they're a specialist, like maybe that's one of the guys that just plays rogue all the time. Gets to high legend, and he's like, well, let me try a big spell mage. He maybe forgot to play it and realized it after he clicked end turn. Maybe hoped you didn't have the 6 drop. I don't know. Either way, GG. The interesting thing was, if I was in my opponent's position, if I was mad, then maybe I make the same play. Like, maybe he's just mad, maybe he's disappointed in himself. But I don't think the game was over. Like, if I had Drakefire Amulet and got 2 free dragons, and I hit like the 12-12 and an 8-8 or something, then maybe the game is over? Maybe? But just because I have a free box doesn't mean the game is over. That's the way I look at it. So nobody plays Paladin. I'm going to say this is Rogue. I feel like you keep the hero card. This card is so good. Once you can start like buffing your hero power, it's insane. I'm playing Mech Paladin currently at rank 7. Do you think I can hit Legend for the first time? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mech Paladin is, I think, performing pretty well. And I think, Gonzalo, I don't know if you're familiar with Vicious Syndicate, ViciousSyndicate.com and the Vicious Syndicate report, but they actually specifically mentioned in the report that came out yesterday that Mech Paladin is performing well, but just nobody's playing Paladin right now. Pretty much from where you're at, hitting Legend is just all about playing enough games. It is a rogue, by the way. They traded Extortion. You just have to play the games, man. If you're winning more than 50% of your games, you're guaranteed to hit Legend. You just have to play enough games. You know, the higher your win rate is, the faster you get there. Just gonna go Tempo King. Saving the hero power, though, because it freezes. But if you've never been at least Diamond 5, I would encourage you to try as hard as you can. You know, maybe try to set aside extra time to at least hit Diamond 5, and that way you get the 10-star bonus for next month. You know, depending on how much time you're able to actually spend on Hearthstone, getting to Legend for the first time could be like a 2-month project or a 3-month project, you know, just trying to get closer, increase your star bonus. And then again, you know, it's just, you have to play enough games to actually be able to get there. We're going to have a turn 5 Belinda. And again, just saving this. This is going to be really good. Hopefully it actually wins this time. Last time we played Rogue and we had the early Belinda, we just lost because they had so much tempo on the board. No, I don't, but I'm going to check it out. Yep, ViciousSyndicate.com. They do usually a weekly report unless there's like some kind of balance changes, nerfs or buffs. But they have deck lists for every class, so it's very data-driven. Everything they do is based on data analysis from games that are actually played, and then they come up with, you know, what they think are the best deck lists for every class. So it's a good resource. I really like them. Makes sense. Just came back after a 5-year gap of not playing. Yep. Yeah, we just need a body on the board, I think. And actually, I think we use the hero power and then just get the second one ready. Have the 2-3 on the board. So we potentially got like Coin Belinda into Drakefire Amulet into hero. That's going to replay the Drakefire Amulet. It just feels really strong. I don't think we're losing this game. Once been top 100 when you played Poison Rogue. To get Legend and top Legend is a grind, 100%. The more time you invest in the game, the bigger the rank. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You could be the best player in the world, but if you're not playing enough games, you're never going to get those high ranks. You prefer I switch to Vicious Syndicate from HS Replay? Nope, I think you use everything. It's like a, to me, it's like a toolbox, you know? I still go to HS Replay, I look at the data there, I go to Vicious Syndicate, I look at people that I think are very skilled players, like on Twitter. There's some very skilled players that post on Reddit. Um, Okani. He blocks a minion. He actually totally blocks the Belinda. He blocks a spell. We still have the Belinda. So we're guaranteed to get 2 amulets. So he does block a minion here. I think we just throw away the sorceress. Like, we don't need the sorceress. Next turn we play Belinda. And we're going to freeze this just to make sure we don't take any damage here. So next turn we've got Belinda. And then we'll get our dragons. Good play from our opponent though with the Okani. Problem with HS Replay, I don't have premium so I can't see the decks from Platinum to Legend. Yeah, that's true. I do think you can still look at it like for mulligan tips though. The thing about Vicious Syndicate is they don't ever put any kind of mulligan information in their reports, so they might say, hey, these are the good decks, but they don't tell you what to look for in the mulligan.
Do you take me for an ordinary mage?
So we got the 10-10 on board, and I don't think our opponents can actually ignore the 10-10, and I don't think we die. They have 12. With Smite, it would be 19.
I'm undead, not dead.
And that's just unfortunate because that prevents us from being able to trade.
Never bring a sword to a fish fight.
Yep. They are all in on killing us next turn. So... I mean, they have 15, so we're still dead even with this. So we have to trade, and then we need to high roll on the Drakefire Amulet to not die. It's unfortunate. Look, our opponents played every card in their hand, too. We'll be able to ping off one of the 3/1s. And I think it's the 4/12 here because this is going to give us a free spell. So if they can't kill us, they have to get through 12 points of taunt, and if they can't kill us, we could go like Rune or Rune Second Amulet. Best play for our opponent would be like Smite, Smite Gone Fishing, and they don't have it. So we're still in this. There's no way they can kill 2. There's no way they can do 24 here. So we can go like box for free. Or actually, we can go like Drakefire for free and then play the hero card, which is going to cast Drakefire again twice. We'll have a full board, and we'll actually get to choose 2 of the dragons. Not Legend or Plat, you don't need them. Currently Diamond 10. Can't see exact stats for that specific rank. Yeah, I know what you're saying. We also just have 14 damage. Do you guys see the lethal? Because I don't see it. It's just Amulet in this, right? We can trade if we have to. Or actually, it's only going to replay one... it's only going to replay one Drake. I'm going to start with the Amulet. I guess the 4/12? And the 12/12. So that is a bit unfortunate. I mean, we go coin box, I guess.
Only so much time.
Or do we ever just take the trades? Gracious. Alright, we're not trading. Put your faith in the box. We have an explosive runes, which means smite does nothing. They've already played 2 tooths and a wicked stab. I'm pretty sure we just won the game. Don't really need every statistic, that's true. In box we trust. Yeah, the box, baby, the box.
Pleasure doing business.
These are the good times when you know you've won the game, you're just waiting for it to actually go through. Kind of like, you know, it's like payday today or tomorrow, and you just keep checking your bank account to see if the money's actually hit yet. Not quite as good as that, but, you know, it's the same feeling, just like on a lower tier. So we're making progress, 255. We're going to be queuing up Big Mage again. I got to take a quick break, though, guys. Man, like, none of my friends are online and playing right now. That's unfortunate, but I'm going to step away, just a quick break to the restroom. I will be back in just a couple of minutes, so I'm going to spectate a game. That way you guys at least have something on the screen to watch. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that, and if you guys are still here when I get back, then we'll continue to play some more Hearthstone. It's only going to be like 2, maybe 3 minutes. And thank you again for watching. Appreciate all the support, any subscribers, any likes, anybody even just spending time here hanging out and watching me play. I really appreciate it, man. That's great. Thank you. I will be right back. Marido.
The Sea Lord is all present. There is no light, only power.
And we're back.
You gotta be
Oh, this guy's playing some kind of Shadow Priest. Maybe that's why he's still Diamond 5 and not Legend yet. Ah, this poor guy. I've actually got a Shadow Priest deck. Shadow Priest getting some love. Yeah, man. I've got a Shadow Priest locked and loaded. I'm not actually going to play it, though. We're still going to be on Big Spell Mage. Just because we won that last game. And I may actually not play this deck today, but this is a 40-card Renathal deck. Shadow Priest. Really focuses on death rattles a lot. And so you've got like the early game survivability with like hero power and, you know, plated beetle. I feel like this card's pretty good. You know, it puts a 2/3 on the board. Death rattle gain armor, which, you know, potentially gets replayed with the Zarella here. So again, I don't know if this deck is any good, but it's definitely something different. It's kind of like a control Shadow Priest version, But I feel like basically every other version of Priest is probably better than this deck. It's just something to play when I get bored. Bored of, I guess, like the current meta decks. Versus Hunter.
You shall pay for your insolence.
I feel like I bait myself with these mulligans sometimes. You never keep it, right? It's just too slow. I do think I'm going to keep the watch post, though. So that'll slow down our opponents, hopefully at least a little bit. Any anti-meta deck that you find funny or interesting? I mean, I like Bomb Rogue. Bomb Rogue is arguably a meta deck, though. There's not too many people playing it. But I do like Bomb Rogue. Outside of that, not that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm almost tempted to like tempo out a Bran on turn 3 based on what our opponent does. We don't have anything to be able to like utilize it. And they may actually be able to kill it based on what they hit. So see, now once again, I have an issue with this. 40 card Hunter deck. Second time today I've faced this thing. They have Harpoon Gun every game on turn 3. Like how in 40 cards? In addition to the fact that they probably hit a beast and we're just going to get blown out of the game. This card right here, what is it? Even if they discounted a beast, they wouldn't be playing it this turn because they only have 3 mana. So we're likely going to trade and then just play the Okani. It's really like the only play that we have. And of course we're going to block a minion here. They might have to actually throw something away. Maybe we get lucky and our opponent just like throws away something really good. Oh wow, that's the one that that they created that last turn. So our opponent does nothing, and we have Belinda next turn.
Not impressed.
I'm gonna tempo out the Bran. I assume it's gonna die. It spends mana, and if it doesn't... Wait, Bran is bad with Belinda, right? I've actually never played these, but if you draw both amulets, it's a 10-10. And then you draw both Rune of the Archmage, it becomes a 9-9. Like, the second 2 spells don't get discounted. Do I just do it anyway? I mean, it's likely this dies, and then that's damage going into this and not our face.
Only so much time.
I guess it's better to hold it. Play Hunter, never have it, the opponent always does. Yeah, I know that feeling. Why didn't he attack and dredge? Maybe no beasts on the bottom? Yeah, it could be no beasts on the bottom. I mean, when you hit Hydralodon out of 40 cards,
Do you take me for an
that's alright.
ordinary mage?
We're gonna box next turn. They never beat the box. So he'll make these trades, and making trades, at least the damage doesn't go face. But they're gonna have a full board. Actually decide to Rat King. So that's actually a good play against the box. And we're still taking a lot of damage here. This game was going pretty good for us, and it looks like we're going to potentially lose to dredge exactly Hydralodon. in a 40 card deck. That's hard to stomach. I mean, we're going to be able to gain a lot of armor, but it's not good enough this turn, right? Like, we actually need to clear this thing. Oh, man, I'm a doofus. I'm a big doofus. This is going to clear everything except the, except the Rat King. Waiting for animations. Actually, the Rat King dies as well. Probably should have done this last turn instead of just rolling out my Belinda to die. But I wasn't thinking. What a turn. We're going to save the freeze. So next turn we can just play the Drake Fire Amulet. It's amazing, man, how many misplays I make. Like, it's actually disgusting. When I sit down and look at my games, I'm like, dude, if I would just pay attention to what I'm doing, I might actually be able to be good at Hearthstone. Yeah, Spammy is like the absolute best card against Hydralodon. Hopefully there's no other beasts on the bottom. We're likely going to trade this because we want to be able to brand an Evoker. We've got the 5 mana dragons. Seems like the play. Wow, we actually low-rolled all the dragons. That is crazy, dude. Alright, I'm gonna freeze his bear here, just so he can't attack with it. I have the option to be able to silence, but then we also remove the attack on our board, so we would have 10, 12, 15. They're going to revive Hydralodon? Oh, they revive Rat King. That's interesting. Sometimes I think this is a mistake because you can get too many Rat Kings on your board. Hey Dan, glad you could stop by. Very good at articulating your strategy. Thanks for the help. Wish I had more time to learn from these live streams. Yeah, and the live streams, I just don't have the time to be able to do a whole lot of them. I'm going to try to do one live stream a week. That's my goal. But there's probably not going to be a schedule. They're likely to be at different times and different days. What does he block here? I mean, I can just test with a minion. He may actually be trying to block this spell. Yeah, I guess I have to test with a minion. Okay. If I set up the brand, he can just never kill it, right? Five, 8, 13, still at 15. Basically, I'm just trying to stall out the game right now. I need to hit the hero card and get the hero power stronger. Imagine if this was active and I played the Bran. Maybe I should have held on to it. I don't think he's removing it this turn, but I don't have anything really good to be able to use next turn. And this is going to be looking like a silence. Oh, unfortunate. It's maybe still a silence. Could go dragons again. I mean, I kind of have to silence just to be able to play the rune. I guess it's probably the best thing to do. Otherwise, I'm just never going to be able to get to the Okani. Face? Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. And a wildfire. And a parrot. Play it again. Yeah, so we just send all damage face. I mean, if we draw a reckless, we're looking at ending the game in 2 turns. Plus we hit ice barrier that gives us a little extra help. Or a little extra life, that is. Matty Dog is still camped out beside me, faithfully, providing emotional support. Also sleeping. We're still so close to just killing our opponent. Second bear. Treasure guard. I think it might actually just be box again. Box ping. And then next turn we have ping Mordresh. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't even have box. Oh yeah, we do. I'm losing it. Losing it. So we definitely want to ping, and then next turn we have ping Mordresh, which just kills our opponent. If they have Tavish, they would go to 13, which puts them just out of the damage range. Yeah, it has to be this. We're going to start with this. Yeah, and so now, even with Tavish, they're not going to be able to prevent us from killing him next turn. Make sure I actually get the ping face. So that was actually bad, because I woke up the Rat Kings, but I don't think it matters, because we're effectively at 27. And this deck doesn't have burn outside of Crush, so we're at 27, and they would at most have, I guess, 20? 22 if they were able to, like, play Crush and Hero Power, so I think we're fine, but that trade was bad. I panicked because I let the rope burn down. That's what happens when you take too long with your turn. Once you start panicking and rushing, you're more susceptible to making mistakes. And it still just amazes me, like, with the amount of misplays that I make and the stupid stuff that I do, that I can still be at this rank. Like, if I just paid attention and cleaned up my play, how good could I actually be? Just not thinking. I mean, it ended up didn't matter. We were basically in an unlosable position, but if we didn't have, for example, that secret, it would have been possible to just die. under other circumstances. So that's the kind of game, yes, we win the game, yes, we gain ranks, but I don't feel good about that game because it's not about winning or losing an individual game. It's about getting better in the long run, because getting better, playing correctly is going to win more games in the long run. And sometimes you can play correctly and lose a game, and that's fine. That's like the nature of card games. The best player in the world can play correctly and lose to somebody that's, you know, nowhere near the level that they're at, just based on the very nature of, you know, trading card games. But correct play in the long run is what you want to aim for, and that's why, you know, you can't invest too much in individual game results. And I see a lot of people making that mistake. You know, it's like the mental side of things that people don't necessarily talk about enough. You know, like tilting, or, oh, my opponent emoted me, now I'm mad. So, I mean, when you think about it like that, opponent emotes, oh, I'm mad, I'm being BM'd, you know, squelch. Well, now you misplay because you're mad. Maybe you lose that game because you misplayed. And now you're in another game, you're even more mad, and you're misplaying even more, so it can cause you to go on like a losing streak. Just because you're so invested in that one individual game. Unless that game is worth a whole lot of money, you gotta let it go. And even then, maybe you still gotta let it go. If it's actually a druid, if it's actually a druid, I think I want to keep Arcanist and Reckless Apprentice, because I'm expecting like Beast Druid, to be honest. Like 2 or 3 days ago, every druid I faced was alignment. 30 cards and 40 cards. Druid is like gone now in what I've been experiencing, but the ones I have played are Beast Druid, and if it's an aggro deck, like I want to be able to silence their composting for sure, and I want to be able to remove minions. This could be a bad mulligan, though. I may have just baited myself. It's 40 cards, and now the question is it Prester Druid or is it Alignment Druid? If it's Alignment, I think we're favored. If it's Prester Druid, we're probably going to get high rolled, and then I'm going to have to practice what I preach and not get mad. That's why a lot of people rope, yeah. No turn 1 play kind of leads me to believe that this is actually going to be Prester Druid. They also don't have a Jerry Rig Carpenter here, which is good news for us. No Jerry Rig and no Cold Tooth Mine. You'd like to see that. Could still be alignment, I guess. So yeah, mulligan hasn't worked out too good for me here. I made an incorrect assumption. It's unfortunate, but I think it was the correct assumption just based on the information I had at the time. You're always having to make an assumption when you mulligan. I assume it's rogue, I assume it's, you know, this specific druid deck. So I always try to reason my way through it and think, you know, what have I been seeing on the ladder recently? What's popular? If you keep up with Twitter, what have people been posting on Twitter? Try to look for clues. We just get down the Okani. It's Okani and we block a spell. Potentially we can block, Nourish if our opponent just plays into it. Unlikely, but, you know, it's possible. People do make misplays. We actually play a minion. So is there any way to protect our Okani? I'm assuming that's a no. Because He only has 1 health and we don't have a taunt. So what else can we do? We could play Spammy clears the board, but I think I want to hold on to this because it's going to be, I think, potentially better later on. I mean, we could even just, like, Varden this. It forces our opponent to hero power to kill this, which maybe delays a Nourish 1 more turn. And then if they have Guff, they actually just won't kill it. So we're going to start with the trade. Next turn, it's likely just going to be Coin Dawn Grasp. I'm going to go ahead and freeze this stuff. So likely we've just forced our opponent to hero power and swing into this. Okay. That's also an option for him. But then we're going to be able to coin out the Dawn Grasp, and then we're going to have targets to be able to start buffing the hero power. Other option would actually be just like ping coin spammy Arcanist to clear this board, which is reasonable because they have so much stuff on the board. We really don't want to take this much damage. And, you know, even with the setup that we have, it's probably actually better. Leaves us a 3-4 on the board. I think that's the play. Taking that much damage is just potentially dangerous, even with the healing we have in the deck, in the form of the Evokers. That's actually really good for us because we're just going to Dawn Grasp and then we'll be able to ping the following turn for the Honor Kill, which is going to get our hero power up to 4 damage. Not sure why they would use the Earthen Scales on that. I guess they just didn't want it to die to a hero power. Would have been nice to be able to like hero power and play this to discount some of these guys, but just not in the cards this particular turn. Yeah, we can just do this and watch post, I think.
The Queen's trove is forbidden.
Watch post lives unless they play Scale of Onyxia. And if they try to draw more cards, they're all getting nerfed. Okay, our opponent aligns. So we don't have any spells, and we actually can't hero power. This does 4 damage. Question is, are we ever just dead here? And I don't think so, because they put this in the middle so they can't Battleground Battlemaster. And this actually staying on the board is really good for us. Next turn, we'll potentially have like a Reckless and a Mordresh. We can even like Snow Flurry and ping here, and then that sets up the honorable kill next turn. I think I like it. So we're guaranteed to get an honorable kill here that's going to allow us to take our hero power to 6 damage. Really looking to hit probably like a box to be able to deal with something crazy that our opponent's going to be doing. Drakefire is a good draw, and then of course if we hit the Evoker, then we're guaranteed to be able to draw one of the spells. It's just not going to heal us. double Reckless Apprentice actually clears the board here. But is that what we want to do? This was played first, so we're going to do 4 to this before we actually get the 6 damage. I think we're probably looking at having to double Reckless. Oof. And even then, this still lives, right? Alright, well this is definitely happening. Now our opponent can also play like Scale of Onyxia to be able to give this immunity again. So I think we're just going to go ahead and get the Mordresh down. It clears the board, we're not taking damage. Puts an 8/8 in play as well. Hero power is up to 6. We have a taunt. Have that.
You gotta be scrappy with scraps.
Need to try to set up a lethal sooner rather than later. So we can actually ping Reckless Apprentice. And it's going to clear his board and push our hero power to 8. After that, we don't have any more board clears. But we do have an 8 damage hero power. We could also even like get these in play.
That's right. Feel that's right. Feel I can take wait, not all of them.
So no more board clears. Still really looking to draw like a Rune of the Archmage or a Drakefire Amulet, but we have potentially a 3-turn lethal. Just because our hero power is doing so much. There's a scale. What's our opponent looking for?
And the cycle of life is reborn anew.
So we'll be able to ping this off, but the problem is the rest of the board, I guess. Now they hit the Kazakhstan, so unfortunately it's looking like we may not be able to get there this game. Mordresh is gone, both Reckless Apprentice are gone. 13 cards in the deck. 6 cards gives us access to potentially something really good. We could even just be dead on board though at this point. There's the Evoker.
No waves can sink this ship.
We hit an amulet and we'll be able to replay it with the parrot. Oh, these are bad. 412 might keep us alive. Is it better to ping? I think it's actually better to ping here. We'll be able to pair it next turn. Also a possibility that we get a box, and then we could replay box as well next turn. This game's coming down to the wire. We just died. Unfortunate, man. They one draw, and they hit the weapon that silences our taunt. Stuff like that's hard to live with. 20% chance, but we're not keeping track. We're going to get into some casino rogue here. I think this is probably the deck that I enjoy the most in the current meta. I find it to be the most fun. It is a bit high-rolly. Definitely dependent on being able to get good spells from Jackpot, as well as good minions from Reconnaissance.
Time for dreaming is over.
Let's have some fun.
We're going to keep the Knoll. Looks like we might actually be playing against Big Spell Mage. Jackpot's really good for us here. If we play this now, this goes to 2. And then next turn... Yeah, we just pass. So we'll go Reconnaissance into Jackpot, and then we'll have a free Knoll on turn 3. That's a bit unfortunate. We can actually just go like Jackpot, Coin, Knoll, to prevent the discounts. I mean to prevent, not discounts, but prevent the, what's the opposite of a discount? Inflation? We're trying to fight inflation. Is that a good use of the coin? I kind of think it is. Unfortunately, we got cards of questionable quality. This card I never want to play because putting that many minions on the board and they're only 2/2s can mess with other cards that could be in your contraband stash, like if you hit a Colossal or something like that off of Queen Ashara. This, just as likely to be wasting mana as it is to be saving mana. Actually hit our Queen. I think we go cheap Reconnaissance and then take a look at the bottom of our deck. But we'll make the trade before we check the bottom of our deck. This is good, this is damage. And we can actually, like, fish up the second part.
Is unclear.
I think we're going to need damage to actually be able to win, so we're going to do that, and then I'm actually going to hold the Gone Fishing because I want to be able to dredge up the other part of this. Also, you know, being able to pack these plus the Charger into Contraband Stash and Tess is potentially really good. Here's a Trickster, but, like, Trickster refreshing Springwater doesn't seem all that appealing.
Parade
Also, Tess is on the bottom. That's not great. Next turn, we can even just like coin Ajara and try to go for a turn 6 Colossal play.
You take me for an ordinary mage?
Unfortunately, it looks like we may not be winning this. We do have possibly Crab next turn. Crab just doesn't do it here because it's not going to remove the 10-9. Now we don't have any spells that we want to copy. And we're definitely not killing them, so it's going to be the Horn. May not be able to play it next turn, though. We'll have to see what happens. They have an option of either Box or Dragons. They take the Dragons. That's a Calicos. And that's a Deathwing. So I think we're all in on hopefully hitting like a Gigafin. There's no way we're moving this and we just die if we don't. Still not good enough. So that's 2 AoE. So that's 9, 6. We can't remove the 12-12. Probably want to try to set up to kill the Calic Ghost next. I think we're just dead. Unfortunate. I think we're dead though. Like, we have no way of being able to remove the Deathwing, and we're just dead to like a Wicked Stab or... I mean, a Wicked Stab, what am I talking about? We're just dead. I'm losing so bad that I'm actually confused about what class my opponent is playing here. We're just going to concede. There's no way we ever win this. On to the next. And we're once again going the wrong way. My goal was top 100, but we're actually just getting farther away. Oh, may not make it. Man, that's the end of my 3rd bottle of water since I went live. And I'm still just thirsty. I feel like I've been thirsty for 3 or 4 days. I'm just always drinking like water, Gatorade. It's just so hot outside, it's hard to keep up. Versus Warlock. Probably not a real Warlock, right? Gonna keep the damage spell. It's a little bit expensive, but every time I play one of these 40-card decks, I just feel like if you try to go too greedy in the mulligan, it's just more likely that you actually hurt yourself than help yourself. Our opponent full kept their mulligan, which is pretty scary. If it actually is Warlock, it's likely Curse Warlock, in which case we're extremely favored. It's going to hero power here. Because if it's Curse Warlock, if they play a Curse, the Curse actually advances our quest. So they have to do nothing. Wait until we complete the quest. Oh, kitty cat. I think it's just Barb Nets and hero power. Kitty, I can't see my cards. Oh, don't sit on the keyboard either. Alive. Other option would have been to just like aim shot face, but this way we're able to weave in a hero power. Maximizing hero powers maximizes damage. They do have a lot of healing in this deck. Again, assuming it's Curse Warlock. And it looks like it is. But we should have more than enough damage to be able to kill him. That's a nice... Kitty, I can't see how much mana I have. That's a nice top deck. Lines up really well. Thins out our deck. Advances the quest. Freezing an Ice Trap. I don't think this deck runs Mutinous, but I do know they had to put in 10 extra cards to hit the 40 cards since it is a Renathal deck, so... want to be careful about potentially having the quest reward in hand. There's another aim shot. I don't think we care about the 3-2. The problem here is we don't want to freezing trap this back into their hand because it is healing, so I'm going to ping it off and then aim shot face. Are you starved for love today? Kitty, you're live on the internet. Does that mean anything to you? So likely we just go ahead and play the explosive trap, I guess. Just to clear this up. Start with the mark shot. And this is a pretty easy, I think, just take the damage spell. King face, and I'm going to go ahead and play the explosive. If our opponent attacks into it, then next turn we'll be able to quick shot and play the quest reward, and then we're likely on the fast track to just winning the game. They may choose not to attack, just because they're probably expecting an explosive trap. I think now they know for sure it's an explosive. Would probably be a misplay on their part to attack here, to be quite honest. And they're just trying to draw cards. As soon as we complete the quest, they're going to be looking to put a bunch of curses in our hand. I wonder if is it ever worth it to like stall completing the quest. We could stall completing the quest until we have like more mana and more cards in hand, and then try to lethal our opponent before they can hit us with a lot of curses. Is that crazy? I might actually just be talking crazy. I should probably just go ahead and complete the quest, right? Complete the quest and try to start setting up for the Furious Howl. In which case, do we Shell Shot first? Because Shell Shot is going to help our multicaster. Plus we can save the aim shot. We've already played one aim shot.
No time for games.
Yeah. I'm going to pass here. I want to draw more than just one card with the Furious Howl. I'm assuming his Okani is blocking a minion. We're just going to let him have the Renathal here. It's not that big a deal. We'll be able to play the Okani to block a spell, but again, it's not that big a deal. Freezing Trap potentially allows them to have a third Okani, which is unfortunate. It's going to be a 5-mana Zola. So he has to choose between playing another Zola and playing another Okani. I think he probably wants to... At some point, I mean, he's got to try to kill us too. He can't just continuously make nothing but defensive plays. Just got to turn 10 and still no jackpot. That's unfortunate. I had a game like that earlier today. Does the Tavish actually survive? Tavish doesn't survive. There's a tracking. I mean, I can even play this to be able to get another cast. I think it's Bunker. Over 2 turns, this is going to draw us 1 mana spells, and it helps to thin the deck. We're going to play the Curse, not because we're worried about the damage, but because of what it lets us do. Then we're going to Freezing Trap, and then we'll take our 2 cards off of Furious Howl. We should be able to activate the Krakenbane. Oh wow, they actually freezing trapped the... That's interesting. I guess they thought it was explosive? Here we see an example of one of the bad cards they put in their deck. And they're going to block a spell. I think I need to ping this because they still have that Zola the Gorgon. They're also blocking a spell. So I think we want to block... Probably the explosive trap, right? Because if I play explosive, then they can play their mistress. I'm not killing them from 22, right? 2, 9, 13, 15, 17. Yeah, I'm not killing them, so I'm going to ping this off. And I'm going to give up the explosive trap. And then we're just going to play stuff. I'm actually going to hold the Krakenbane here. They do still have, like, other, you know, another Drain Soul. There's things that they could target my minion with to heal. I'm going to force them to target their own minions. Could be relevant in the long run. I'm assuming they're able to kill their own mistress here. It's also possible we have to take a look at killing the 8/6. All these Okanis... They have 18. I only have 7 damage. I mean, I can remove the Okani and then do this. Potentially find lethal. I'm going to hit the 8/6. If I have to, I can ping it based on what we find. Tracking is good. Quick shot is good. And lethal is good. Ooh, that was a close game. I really didn't think we were going to get there. All those Okanis from our opponent were actually really, really clutch. 254. Alright guys, that is actually going to wrap up the live stream. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out. Thank you for interacting in the chat. This is always a lot more fun when I have people to talk to. Thank you for all the support. I know there's people that's been coming through that have supported me in a lot of ways. Anything that you've ever done, just showing up and watching, man, that's amazing support. Thank you so much. I know there's been other people, you know, subscribers. I've seen people that have followed me on Twitter, people that have, you know, retweeted and you know, kind of helped try to get my name out as far as videos and things like that. So thank you so much. I'll never be able to say thank you enough for that support, and I just can't tell you how much that just warms my heart, just to have somebody doing something nice for me. So thank you for doing that, and just for like spreading positive things in a world that tends to be, you know, negative a lot of times. So thank you, thank you, thank you. There's probably going to be another live stream sometime next week. I'm pretty much committing to at least one live stream a week. No schedule. I've just got too many different things going on to be able to hammer down even a day, much less a time. But you can expect regular videos coming out from me. I've really tried to step up the content creation, and I think I've done that, at least in the short term, the last week or two. I've had much more stuff coming out than I have in the past, so you can look forward to more stuff coming from me. Thank you again. This was Uncorrupt, and good luck out on the ladder. Thank you, thank you.